Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order the closed session meeting for Monday, August 3rd, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Dilmer, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Castrovieja is absent. Mayor Hepburn.
Present. The City Council will meet in closed session for the following. City Attorney Hall Barlow, please read the closed session items for the record and let us know if there will be any report out afterwards.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Negotiators are the city manager, assistant city manager, and city attorney. Employee organizations involved are Laverne General Unit, Laverne Firefighters Association, Laverne Fire Middle Management Association, and all unrepresented employees. We also have conference with legal counsel existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. City of Whittier et al. Versus Los Angeles Superior Court et al. Los Angeles Superior Court case number 23STCP03579.
Thank you very much, Attorney Hall Barlow. Council, do you have any comments? No. I'm going to open up public comment. Do we have anybody here wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. And with that, at this time, we'll recess at 5:31 p.m. and reconvene at 6 o'clock for the study session. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order the study session meeting for Monday, August 3rd, 2026 at 6:06 p.m. At this time, I would like to call Rachel Burnhap from the Los Angeles County Agricultural Commissioner Weights and Measures to come forward and report on the gold-spotted oak borer, or GSOB, issue. That's I won't say it. You're laughing, and I'm not going to say it.
I know. When you said it out loud, I was like, it really should be GSOB, but it's called GSOB.
GSOB. I like the GSOB.
But it really should be.
Rachel, we're on the same page.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
I think by the end of our presentation, you'll understand why it should be called GSOB. But
yes.
It's just GSOB. So.
Yes, it's a booga. Thank you.
Okay.
You have the floor.
Okay. Well, good evening, Mayor Hepburn. I was prepared to introduce Mayor Pro Tem, but unfortunately he's we don't have his figurine. He is on vacation. And then also Councilmember Crosby, Councilmember Johnson, and also we are honored here tonight to present before you a very important issue. Here. First of all, City of Laverne is a beautiful city. Those who live here are so lucky. And while I'm not too familiar with the entire city, I think we can all agree here that Marshall Canyon is truly a magical place because of its intact, protected coastline oak woodlands. It's a tremendous gem to the community, to the wildlife that live there, and also the native plants that call its home. So first of all, thank you for protecting it. I also want to tell you thank you because Marshall Canyon, because you also are helping to protect the rest of the oaks in the county and beyond, as Marshall Canyon is the perfect training ground. And we are bringing others here to learn about it, see what it looks like, so then they can also go out to their other oak trees and look for it there as well. So thank you for that. So tonight we are here to talk about a true tree killer, unfortunately. It's an invasive non-native beetle called the gold-spotted oak borer, or GSOB, and to give you a status on the Laverne infestation found here. So from now on, I'll say GSOB, but think in your mind the gold-spotted oak borer. Oh, okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so tonight we're going to teach you the gold-spotted oak borer basics, the history, what it attacks, what it does to the tree, how can you tell if a tree is infested, its current infestation level here in the city of Laverne, what can be done about it, and some suggestions for management goals. We have a lot of information packed onto this PowerPoint, so I'm going to move a little bit quickly. Let me know if I'm moving too quickly, and then, of course, if you have questions, please feel free. Okay, so gold-spotted oak borer basics. What is GSOB? Well, it's a small beetle, less than half an inch long, that's native to Arizona and New Mexico, where there it coexists with the native red oaks because it exists there because they evolved together. And there as well, it does not cause oak tree mortality because not only has the oak and the beetle evolved with each other, there's also natural enemies there. For example, like parasitoid wasps that may infest the larva. As well as Arizona has different precipitation patterns than we do. In Arizona, in the summer, they get monsoonal rain, and that's the time in the GSOB larva's life cycle that it's impacting the tree the most. So there, the tree is able to survive. But unfortunately, here in Southern California, the oaks are dry in the summer because we don't receive any precipitation usually. And as the GSOB beetle is hitting it the hardest at that time, the tree simply cannot survive. So unfortunately, here in Southern California, we know that it is an oak tree killer, killing oak trees within about 3 to 5 years. This photo, oh, I'm sorry?
She was just asking how it came here. Did it come from Arizona and just gravitated towards here?
Yep.
Or people bringing wood, people bringing products,
Yep.
and basically infecting our oaks. Okay.
Yep, that's true.
Bringing in something foreign that shouldn't have been here, but it did. Okay.
Indeed, and we're going to cover that in detail here in just a minute. So this photo actually shows what a GSOB adult beetle looks like. This photo was taken by Deputy Forester Wing when he was at Marshall Canyon, and you can see the leaf is poison oak, so it's extremely tiny. Adult beetles are actually rare to see, and because they emerge from the tree and they'll fly to the top of the tree and eat on the leaves, so rarely you see an adult beetle. The adult beetle that I've shown on my cover slides that's actually a fake photo, so I just want you to know that. But this photo is real. They also can't fly very far as they're a very small beetle. They fly about a mile, if that, on their own. So how does this beetle exist in its tree, and what is the life cycle? So to show this, we have 2 photos of wood slices. The photo in the upper left shows kind of a straight slice of the tree, and you can see that the edge contains the bark. And then the photo in the lower left is the sapwood. So the bark has been shaved off of that piece of tree. So the adult female beetle will lay extremely tiny little eggs on the outside of the bark. And when these eggs hatch, little teeny tiny larvae or worm-like critters will then chew their way through the bark to get to the xylem and cambium. If you are unfamiliar with tree anatomy, the xylem and cambium area, which exists between the sapwood and the bark, is the live tissue that the tree needs to move nutrients and water up and down the tree, as well as the tissue that expands the diameter of the tree, so it makes the tree bigger. When this area is compromised, the tree declines and will eventually die. Some of you may have heard the term girdling a tree before as a way to kill a tree. So when the larva reaches the cambium xylem area, there it will feed, and it'll grow, and it'll feast, and it'll feast, and it'll feast some more, and keep growing. And you can see the photo on the right shows 2 different sizes of the larva. They're kind of gross, actually. And I can show you, we have a couple of those in a vial over there, as well as an adult beetle. So then when the larva gets big enough, it'll crawl back up through the top of the bark, where there it will pupate, meaning it will start turning itself into an adult beetle. And once it's an adult beetle, it'll chew its way out of the bark and emerge. Because this beetle species has a flat bottom and a round back, When it emerges, its hole is a D-shaped hole. Now you need to remember the D-shaped hole. Over there as well. Okay. Okay, so the history of the gold-spotted oak borer in Southern California. Unfortunately, it is not a new pest, so we know plenty about it. It's been here in Southern California for about 20 years, and it was first detected in San Diego County in 2004 in a California Department of Food and Agricultural exotic wood boring survey. But it wasn't officially figured out to be a tree killer or linked to oak tree mortality until 2008. So in just 20 years, GSOB has spread throughout Southern California, with it now being found in Ventura County. And this map is kept by Kim Corella, who is CAL FIRE's GSOB expert. It's available online for anyone to look at and check them, and you can look for the website with this QR code. You have a question?
Question. Since looking where we are, just east of Pasadena, and there's not a big spot, is that red dot is kind of where we're at? Or okay, I just want to make sure that we have it here so that it's where the trains are for. Awesome. Okay, perfect.
Well, it's also what low precipitation is, too. You can see like Borrego Springs and Desert State Park. My gosh, the cluster is a lot. Then you go to El Cajon. Those are very dry areas. They don't get a lot of rain.
These are all areas where host tree species exist.
Wow.
So we're going to talk about the different host tree species here in just a second. But Kim Corella's green spots there are negative finds. So that's where she's checked, and she found nothing there. So, and again, this map is online, and she's always updating it. So I encourage you to look it up every once in a while. So CAL FIRE also creates zones of infestation. Here is their GSOB zone of infestation. And for their purposes, when one tree is found in a county, the whole county is deemed infested, as just a way to create a nice boundary. So where has it been found, or where is it currently found in Los Angeles County? Well, the first finding was in Green Valley in 2016, but nothing really was found until years later, until it was found around the Santa Clarita woodlands. So Whitney Canyon, Placerita Canyon, as well as MRCA property, East and Rice Canyon, and New Hall. Those were all found in 2023, 2024, with Ventura County being found in 2024, and then Marshall Canyon in April of 2025. The story behind how it was found here goes like this. So there was someone with LA County Fire Forestry Division who had mentioned to my department that he was a local and he was familiar with Marshall Canyon and had hiked it over the years. He had noticed oak trees declining, and he brought it up to my department. So when Fayek and I was able to go out and take a look, I'm sorry, I just realized I totally went past my introduction, didn't I? But that's okay. No worries, we'll keep going. Because I was supposed to introduce Fayek and give you a little spiel about my apartment, but no worries. We'll skip to the important stuff. So anyway, how it was found in Marshall Canyon is that someone told us kind of the trees were declining and also where to find the trail, which was key. I think if someone wasn't local and they didn't really know the trail system, we wouldn't have found it. So Fayek and I went out and took a look, and we did see D-shaped holes there. This finding was also confirmed by Kim Corella with CAL FIRE, and that's why it's on her map, and then also confirmed by Deputy forester win? All right, here's back to your question, Mayor Hempern. So if these little beetles can't fly very far, how did they get to California? And once established in Southern California, how are they spreading here? Well, we brought it here, and we are spreading it through infested oak firewood. Inside California, firewood is not a regulated commodity. It freely moves without any regulation whatsoever. And oak firewood is the most expensive, most desirable oak firewood out there, because we all know it makes the greatest pizzas, right? And as well as amazing barbecue. So it is highly desired, and it's very expensive. What oak species are at risk here? Well, host species include, here in California, they include the California black oak, the canyon live oak. Sometimes Engelmann oaks are impacted, but not so much, but primarily the coast live oaks. And of course, here in Laverne and in Los Angeles County, we all know that coast live oaks do dominate our landscape, and they are the ones most at risk. Does GSOB attack healthy or just dying trees? And also, what size of age class does it attack? Well, while most pests are secondary, meaning that they attack dead, dying trees and help decompose as part of nature, GSOB is a primary pest, meaning it will attack and kill even healthy trees. They will also attack smaller, young oaks as low as 5-inch DBH, as well as the very old and the very large oaks. And in case you don't know what a coast live oak looks like, here's a photo of one. And the leaves are very small, usually. They're dark, waxy green, and the edges have kind of a serrated tip to it. And then finally, what are the short-term and long-term damages to an infested oak woodlands? At our level, it could mean a loss of recreation opportunities as the trail becomes hot, fewer hikers are wanting to hike it, as well as an economic loss because mitigation requires resources and it's quite expensive. Also, dead, dying trees could also mean a hazard issue if it's found in an area where it can fall on someone or a target. And then, of course, also dead, dying trees contributes to wildfire fuel loading when it's found near a community. And longer-term impacts to our ecosystem and environment could be habitat conversion, meaning the oaks in Marshall Canyon die, which reduces the shade under the creek. And this, in turn, could lead to impacts like non-native invasive species flowering up, as well as an increased water temperature in the creeks, which would impact our sensitive aquatic species like California newts and also our California tree frogs. So it also impact wildlife as well as a loss of watershed and soil erosion protections. It's not a good thing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Forrest Win Wing, and he can go ahead and introduce himself. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wen Wen, Deputy Forester with the LA County Fire Forestry Division, Invasive Pest Management Unit. Thank you for having us here to present some important information regarding our oak health. Thank you, Rachel, for your introduction. I think I'm going to the wrong place. Yeah. Okay. So Rachel mentioned that GSAP, it's a primary pest. It's a primary stressor that can kill oak trees. within 3 to 6 years. Because, the lack of natural enemies, parasites here, so the population cannot be controlled. That's why it's doing so much damage and continue to spread because of the lack of natural enemies. Yeah, so that's how the human, we are stepping in, try to provide some mitigation, hopefully to slow down the spread and reduce the population. So that's what we are trying to do here. So our county GSAP team, so when we go out, so mostly we have coast live oaks within LA County. That's our number one native oak tree species. Same as in the city of Laverne, also coast live oak. The range is all throughout San Gabriel Mountains foothills and also Santa Monica Mountains. It's pretty much everywhere, so it can become a huge problem. Not just creating more fuel load, also it's going to be, increasing economic loss due to, require tree removal and also mitigation. So it's going to be a big problem. So when we go out there, so how do we know oak trees have GSAP infestation? So as we know that trees can get sick from various causes, right? Drought or something else. So when we go out, we need to see if GSAP is present. So that's why we go out to do verification and to confirm if it's GSAP or something else. Yeah, so there are certain very specific signs that we are checking on oak trees. So the first one is, so when the GSAP adults, when they emerge, they'll create some D-shaped holes on the surface of the trunk. So that's a sign of presence of GSAP infestation. Yeah, so it's very distinct to the GSAP species. Yeah, no other insect, no other native insects that cause that kind of exit holes on our oak trees. So only GSAP. So that's a very critical sign to look for. Yeah, however, there are also some native insect pests or some native insects that also create exit holes, but usually they're oval or rounded, so they are not D-shaped. So when we do the verification, we kind of try to make sure they fit the description of a D-shaped exit holes. Yeah, another important sign that we would look into verify the presence of GSAP, it's by looking for the larvae that already coming out, ready to pupate and become adult. So we try to look for like a tiny wet spots on the bark surface, and we try to looking for the larvae that coming out to pupate. Yeah, so here the picture shows a tunnel created by GSAP larva ready to pupate. So they'll come out to the bark surface and create a chamber to pupate. And then they'll become adult and making a hole to exit. Yeah, okay. So these two pictures here shows the picture on the right. So that's a larva in we so-called a hairpin stage. So by the time they are ready to pupate, so they'll fold themselves in half. So they look like a hairpins. So entomologists, we call this hairpin stage because the shape of the larva. And the picture on the left, so one hairpin larva was exposed. So that's the chamber, and you see just right under the bark surface. Yeah, so this is all the important sign that we use to verify if we have GSAP. Yeah, so the D-shaped emergence holes and also the GSAP larvae, and sometimes you might find GSAP adults in the bark. So we look for these signs to confirm the infestation. Yeah, so as Rachel mentioned that, so unfortunately, GSAP was confirmed at Marshall Canyon last April. So since then, we have been doing continuous survey at Marshall Canyon. for the past year or so. Yeah, also our team and also County Ag, we have been doing some survey also at the different locations in St. Dimas, Laverne, also Claremont areas. But so far, only Marshall Canyon has a very active infestation. Okay, so this Marshall Canyon area is approximately 2 miles length. I would say about 1/3 are county parcels, and the other 2/3 belong to the city. But also a few trees are located within private parcels. Yeah, so it's affecting the county and the city and also some private parcels. Yeah, so far we have surveyed approximately 320 host livestock in the canyon area, and the infestation rate is about 48%, so it's pretty high.
Mr. Wang, I don't mean to interrupt, but we do have a council meeting starting.
Okay.
But this is very important to us,
Yes.
so if we
Let
just
me-
kind
I'm gonna
of
speed up.
cruise through. Yeah,
Sure,
thank you.
for sure. Let me try. Yeah, so just some satellite images showing the mortality progression. So 2020, 2023, you can start to see dead oaks. Yeah, just another different location, but Marshall Canyon. Yeah, so GSAP can kill trees quite quickly. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to read through all of this. We don't have enough time to go through so much detail. I'm just going to give you a brief overall. So we have been doing since last April. So we have been doing data collection, analysis, and then we are into of course communication with cities. And since this is an interagency collaboration effort, communication is a big deal. And also we are moving into the next phase, which is implementation. That includes securing a funding to provide some mitigation works that can hopefully slow down the spread and also suppress the GSAP population. Yeah, so we are in the implementation phase now. And yeah, so that comes to, so we have fire department, county fire department, we currently apply for a $5 million grant from the CAL FIRE. It's called a Forest Health Grant. So that can be potentially used to assist City of Laverne in terms of mitigation. And also some other project sites include Green Valley, which we spent about $3 million just on helping the residents removing dead oaks killed by GSAP. So yeah, we remove about 1,000 oak trees in Green Valley alone. So it's very expensive. Also, we do some systemic insecticide injection at Green Valley. So we treated up to 1,000 trees. Yeah, but the money just wasn't enough. So we are continuing to securing for funding and try to provide to help the residents and assisting other cities who might need it. Yeah, so if we do award it with the grant money, so for Marshall Canyon, we are allocating about enough funding to treat up to 200 to 400 oaks. Treating means insecticide treatments like trunk spray and also trunk injection. So those are currently the proven mitigation method that can help suppress GSAP population, but it's expensive. Also, we will be allocating some fund to remove up to 200 dead and dying oaks at the Marshall Canyon. It's necessary, yeah. But again, since we're assisting agency, the final decision will be up to the city on which oak to remove, yeah. But we are trying to secure the funding to help assisting the city and also some other areas. Not responding. Okay. All right. Okay, short-term and long-term management. So short-term, we continue to do our education outreach, try to inform the residents and, and more people to be aware of the problem, because I think most people are still not aware of the problem, especially, we have so many coast livestock, and, when you turn around, you see so many green trees, so, there's no problem, right? Until if you go to Marshall Canyon to pay a visit, then you can see the devastation. So because there's still so many coast livestock, and the pest still has plenty of horse tree to go around. But eventually it's going to spread. It's going to become more costly to manage. So long term, so it's going to be selectively removing trees, also do some treatment to suppress the population, and also try to protect whatever regeneration. So naturally, they already oak trees are regenerating. Even at the Marshall Canyon, you go there, you see a lot of baby oaks, they're already coming out. So what we need to do is, to identify them, try to protect them, and they'll be the next generation of oak trees. So it's a long-term process. Yeah, it's for the next generations of people. Yeah, also for the oak trees. Yeah, and that concludes my presentation today. And then anytime if you have any questions, just send us a notice, and we'll be happy to
Well,
reply.
I just want to say on behalf of the city, we really do appreciate what you guys do for us. It's very important. These are our cherished oaks. We want to help in any way we possibly can. We really appreciate the fact that you are doing this. I mean, trying to seek the funding, whatever we can do to help you to seek the funding, let's do that together. But this is obviously a serious problem. And the treatments you're putting on there, has it been helping? The treatments on the trees that you've been on the infected areas, obviously the ones you have to remove, they have to go. So
Yeah, so Green Valley. So we we treated about 1,000 trees with a systemic insecticide treatment. So there are some residents reporting, the trees are still growing, but for sure, some trees already are beyond recovery.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you do, won't help.
you have to remove them.
Yeah, but again, it'll be another different process, and it's going to be costly, the removal itself. Yeah.
And Mr. Mayor, I want to just thank both Wang and Rachel for all of their effort and coordination with city staff. Really, we're not the experts. This was a surprise to us, and so the entire county staff have been so wonderful and informative on this, and we are working together on the funding. So our staff has accompanied them out, looked at the emicide treatment and how it's done. We're still not able to do it yet, but that's part of that long-term management. So again, I think that partnership that we will have with LA County Fire and LA County Department is going to be very important.
And I think also we need to make sure that we educate, especially a lot of us that live in northern Laverne and all the areas that are trails that we have so many here, educate them and know how we can help you guys. Because it's very important. If we see it, we should report it, let us know what it is so that we can get out there and treat it. So, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I was just wanting to make sure that our arborist that the city uses is aware of this pest and is also keeping a check on the oaks that are in town.
Yes, they've been accompanying us, and also just for our residents, if you go to laverneca.gov/GSOB, you'll get more information on it. So.
Don't laugh, Rachel.
Peace out.
Well, we appreciate that.
If it's because you said that you notify even the people that it's on their private property, do you go and try to treat those trees as well if it's on private property, or is it up to the owner?
Yeah, that's going to be up to the private property owner. Yeah, it's a government agency. We cannot conduct ourselves as a pest control company. Yeah, we cannot do that. But we can assist another public agency. So it's kind of different.
But you
scenario.
notify the people that live up there that you've seen it maybe on their trees as well.
Yeah, I think Rachel has been reaching out to some of the HOA. Yeah.
So we're communicating with them, let them know, okay, here's what you need to do. This is the path forward. So.
Yeah, but definitely, for GSOB, it's very special because, even if you cut the dead trees, so that in the bark, there still might be a viable pupae that can emerge. So it's very critical that, whatever tree got removed, all the chip material, even they got through the chipper, they should be left on site if it's possible, yeah. They
Don't
shouldn't
move
be
it.
moved to a different location. That might start a new infestation.
Well, I think we need to recap this in a few months and come back and let us know how we're doing, how we can help. We also want to get it more out to our community to let them know that this is an issue. We really do appreciate that. I think I probably need to open up public comment if there's any public comment. I'll give everybody a second if anybody wants to speak on this issue. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. Council, we have any other questions? Thank you again very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime in our community because we really do appreciate what you do. We have a cherished oaks that are the basis of our community, and we have lost many. And so, but let us know how we can work with Public Works, with our city management. Let's work together as a team. We really, really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to do a 5-minute break, and then we will reconvene back into our city meeting. We are reconvening now at 6:47 p.m. to start our city council meeting. Good night. Good night. Thank you all for being here. I'm thinking way ahead. Anyway, welcome everybody. I want to remind everyone that per the city's rules of decorum, all speakers, members of the audience, and council members are to conduct themselves with decorum, not engage in the conduct that interrupts the orderly conduct of the city council meeting, and that everyone treats everyone respectfully at all times. Also, public comment through Zoom may be accepted for all items on the agenda. Tonight, we're very pleased to have Marine Lance Corporal Richard Munoz to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Richard, will you please come forward? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Munoz, if you could stay there for a second. We really appreciate it, and thank you for doing the Pledge of Allegiance for us. We always appreciate our veterans coming in and joining us for this, and we do appreciate your service, and thank you very much. With that, City of Laverne Certificate of Recognition presented to Richard Munoz. This certificate is presented on behalf of the Laverne City Council to Marine Lance Corporal Richard Munoz with sincere gratitude and appreciation for dedicated service to our country. Thank you very much. Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a resident of Laverne for the past 30 years. Prior to that, actually, during that time and prior, I was an officer for the city of Los Angeles. And previous to being a policeman, I was a Marine and served in Vietnam.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir, very much. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Kashvagita is absent, and Mayor Hepburn.
Present. Tonight we have one presentation, 2026 Fire Risk Reduction Committee List Recognition. The City of Laverne was added to the Board of Forestry's Fire Risk Reduction Community List, recognizing the city's continued efforts to strengthen wildfire preparedness, reduce local fire risk, and protect residents, property, and critical infrastructure. Will Fire Marshal Fred St. Ange please come forward?
Good evening, Mayor, council members, City Manager. I am very pleased to report that I have successfully got the city across the board for designation for the California risk reduction for the FRUCL for the city. We have a PowerPoint. Okay.
She threw it against the window, let's be honest, come on. Where's JR?
All right, so as I was saying, I was able to get this thing across the board here and be designated for the city of Laverne. It goes in effect July 1st for 2 years. Only 42 cities in the state of California got this designation here, and only 4 in the LA County area. So I'm really pleased to share that with you guys. So what is the FRUCL? It is the California Board Forestry Designation recognition communities that exceed the state wildfire planning standard. It measures the wildfire preparedness and land use planning, fire prevention, and community risk reduction. So this timeline, I started this project last May of 2025. We submitted application July 2025. We submitted the application. October 25 through the 26th of June was the review process and the approval process. And we got approved to officially start this July 1st of 2026. How we qualified. So there's a list that we have to go through, and part of it is to become to adopt the maps, which we did last April, May with me. We have to do a safety element compliance. We have to go through code adoption. We have to adopt the maps, like I said, subdivision review, and to basically enhance the state minimum wildfire planning requirements. The benefits are, as of July 1st, we're designated through June 30th of 2028. We support future grant opportunities for the city. The second thing is it helps the citizens of Laverne possibly with a insurance discount, and then hopefully gives us the supports for those grants. So the two things that happens with the insurance piece of it, one is if you're a FireWise community or you're recognized as a FRUCL, and we are that. So now that we've also done both of those, it does help with the insurance piece. I had one neighbor report to us that I think they saved close to $100 off their insurance already by this piece. The next steps are maintaining this designation here for the city, pursuing additional grant fundings for the city for weed abatement, fuel mods, all that kind of stuff. This is what this is designed for. Expanding the community wildfire education across the board is the next critical thing. In closing, I'd like to thank Andrea. She's the one that also helped me with this project here to get this thing across the board and to get designated as the FRUCL for the city too. Any questions?
The acronym FRUCL?
FRUCL is the Fire Risk Reduction Community List. So they call it as it's like saying Urkel, but FRUCL.
I was thinking of Farkle, like from the Saturday Night Live, the Farkle family.
Yes.
But I was just, that's just, oh,
Yes.
totally. 1972.
I don't know if I recall that one, Mayor.
You had a
But these designations, though, they're typically for our hillside areas where they're
So anywhere
brush.
that's in the high fire zone areas, yes.
Right.
So this has been like the biggest thing where the insurance piece, even for my house in Fontana, I got asked if I was part of a Burkle and a Firewise, and my city doesn't have that yet. So, and then we're hearing that across the board. I know Raymond's got the Firewise right now, and so he's done well with that. And then this is just another piece of that pie. So if you don't have a Firewise right now, you could use this. You could go on our city's website. It's all plastered there to get the certifications. I will leave some certs at the front desk over here before I leave tonight. So if you guys want to grab them, that's fine. And like I said, if there's anything I could do to help you guys with this, then let me know. But it's something that we worked really hard to get, and it'll be here for 2 years, and then every 2 years we have to reapply.
So for the reapplication process, is it different because we've already been designated, or is the process as if you were going through it all over again?
So my understanding is that it's slightly different for that process for us. So we still have to have all these different things come into play with the code adoption, general plan, the adoption of the maps, everything. As long as things don't change, then we could resubmit and be good for the next 2 years after that too.
Thank you.
Yep.
I want to personally thank you, also thank Raymond Swain and his group that for the Firewise and our community. I will say, I don't think we've ever been, I don't want to, let's just knock on wood here. I don't want to ever say you're always prepared, but I think our community between our contractors, our fire department, our public works have cleared so much brush in all of the high fire zones and also the underbrush of the trees. I've never seen it, and I've lived here 40 plus years, and to prepare ourselves for, not if, it's when, and also to have our fire storage areas with generators to make sure we have backup, to make sure we have pressure in our lines when it does come. And the fires have been hitting in some places that have never seen it before, between France and Idaho. Washington's been experiencing, Oregon. We have a lot of our resources, our retired annuitants have been out to these fire centers that they've been called to duty. So I thank you. I thank your staff. I thank the entire fire department, Chief Coatney, our residents. It takes a village to do this, and I'm Raymond and I are both in the same high fire zone, and it's important to stay aware of what you're doing and what's around you, and we really appreciate what you've done. It's a lot of hard work, and it takes a long process, but I'm really proud that we are both of those in the community. So whatever you need from us, we're here to help you too.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to open up public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item? Denita? Excuse me, Ms. Beauchamp.
Good evening, Council. I want to thank them for doing this work. I know we've been fortunate this year compared to other areas in California and other states of how bad the fires are. And so I know it was a lot of work and a long process. Like he said, he started this, spring of last year. But, there's so many people that are really, can take advantage of that insurance discount, because everybody knows how expensive that really is. And that's if you can even get insurance. So that really is helping these are the programs that we need to have more for the city, and getting some of these grants to offset that to the residents. So thank you to everybody that was involved in this process. I really appreciate their hard work.
Thank you, Ms. Beauchamp. Anyone else speak on this item? Mr. Swain, the king of Firewise.
Mayor, council, citizens. I want to thank Fred for his work, and we do a lot of work together. I mean, Firewise wouldn't have come together without the strong support of the fire department to start off with. And we are just coming up 2 months from now to our annual renewal for ourselves. Actually, we have a 3-year deal, but we have to put a presentation together on what we've done in our first year. And wasn't quite prepared to talk about it right now, but it just, the momentum was here. So as of last week, we now have a website, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. And we had a letter that went out to our community last Friday, so it would have been in your mailbox on Saturday for the Russet Canyon community, explaining what again, what Firewise is, how to access us on social media, and getting this whole thing on social media up and going has been a challenge. But which brings me to another point on social media. So tomorrow night we have the National Nights Out. I'm sure somebody's going to be talking about that. And our advertising for that went out on the various social medias of the fire department and the police department. But I look at today's newspaper, our local newspaper for San Gabriel Valley, and the highlight is National Nights Out event this week. And on the next page, it lists 24 communities that are sponsoring National Nights Out. And we didn't make the print piece of this communication. So I'm just would like to remind
We'll
us.
work on that one, won't we?
Some of us still read newspapers and like a print now and then. But anyways.
Raymond, if you could share that information with our city, we can put that on the website too, because it affects all of our community as far as the new website pages and things like that.
You bet.
Let's get that to them and give it to all of us so we can push that out also.
Yeah, I have a great support team now that just kind of fell into place this last 3 weeks. And
beautiful. That
made all the difference. And you look at our group, it's a support team because you'll see the generational gap.
That's okay. We appreciate the youth with their new technology.
Yes, and that has helped dramatically. So yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Raymond. Any other wish to speak on this item?
Mr. Mayor, there's a call-in user.
Oh, I didn't see that. Boy. You're active. We'll give you a 3-minute time frame. You wish to speak on this item?
Yeah, hello, my name is Gord Arbison, and I hate trannies. I hate them so much. They beat our women in sports. They beat our women.
Off topic. Mayor,
off topic. That's not, you can. That would be public comment. You can call back during public comment, but this time is for the Firewise and the fire community. So we're going to mute you, and you're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting to have your conversation in public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Mr. Mayor, I just want to thank all the staff that were involved. So Lonnie and Fred, Andrea, even former Chief Nig, current Chief Coatney, and everybody who put in. I'm sure Brown was part of this too, and putting together all the information, but also going back many years. It's accumulation, as Fred was talking about, of different material being presented to the state, all the actions that the city has taken to be better on the fire prevention. And it doesn't stop now, doesn't stop with any of the renewals coming up. We've got to make sure that all of our properties are protected, that the defensible space. So please go to our websites, fire department, a lot of information up there. Fred and Lonnie are always available for communications and for going out to HOAs or to any other place to talk about this. But it is very important that this community is so prepared for any potential fire. That's why the city goes through and does all their fire reduction, fuel modification. Best thing about this circle is that it allows us to...
Excuse me?
Yes. Excuse me. That it allows us to seek better grant opportunities. And so it puts us ahead of some other communities. So I just want to applaud the community for being supportive and all staff who are participating.
Thanks, Andrea. We really appreciate it. You did do a lot of work. All the staff did. And thank you all again. With that, I'm going to close public comment. Do we have any other comments on this item? With that, we will move on to our next one. Thank you all again. Appreciate that. Okay, now on to announcements of upcoming events. Just announcements. This isn't public comment, but announcements that are coming into our community. I do have a couple. I have Haley Flores, YWCA STV.
I'm a little short. Good evening, City Council members, Mayor, and the citizens of Laverne. My name is Haley Flores, and I'm the Regional Coordinator for Senior Services with the YWCA San Gabriel Valley. I just wanted to thank you for allowing me a few moments to make this announcement tonight. I'm here to personally invite each and every one of you to our 2026 Champions of Change Awards Gala this Thursday, August 27th at the Hilton in San Gabriel. This annual event for the YWCA is very important for us for our fundraisers. The proceeds help sustain critical programs that provide food, hygiene products, mental health services, and other essential resources for not only the whole San Gabriel Valley, but the city of Laverne. You guys have been an incredible partner in this mission. We're truly grateful for your continued collaboration through our senior services program at the Laverne Community Center. And this year, we proudly served 6,408 nutritious meals to local seniors during the 2025 and 2026 fiscal year for the city of Laverne. We're specifically inviting you guys to recognize one of Laverne's very own and the YWCA's very own, Maria Cohn. She has been selected as our 2026 Senior Service Volunteer for the Year for the City of Laverne. Maria's compassion, dedication, and commitment to serving our local seniors have made a lasting impact, and it would mean so much to have the City Council and City staff join us in celebrating her accomplishments. I provided each and every one of you with an information packet that includes sponsorship opportunities as well as ways to purchase tickets or reserve a table if you'd like to attend and support Maria this special evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And you've given us all a flyer, so
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Brandon Coatney.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the community. I wanted to just very shortly bring up an acknowledgement of a very critical call that we had this weekend. Critical incident where a person had gone into a cardiac arrest, but that there was a tremendous amount of collaboration all the way from the start of the call with the person that discovered the victim was down, all the way through our police and fire response and where we're at today. So this past Saturday at about 1:30 in the afternoon, we had a visitor to our city that was visiting one of our businesses that during that time went into a cardiac arrest. One of the employees at that facility immediately called 911 and started CPR. Within 2 minutes, Laverne PD officers arrived on scene, hooked the patient up to an AED, which it recognized that there was needed a shock, delivered a defibrillation, at least one, followed by about 2 minutes later, the fire department arrived on scene, continued the advanced life support, started an IV, administered medications, and it started an advanced airway. Upon arrival at the hospital, the patient had a pulse and a blood pressure, and I'm happy to report we just had one of our crews that was on duty today, which was one of the captains that was on that incident. They were at the hospital and went to see the patient, and he is awake and talking.
Wow, that's great.
So the highlight of that is the collaboration all the way from the person that has done the hands-only CPR, did the basics to start out with, from our PD getting on scene, applying that AED right away, and the collaboration there. And everyone I've talked to on the call said that all of the transitions between people, it was seamless. That's the kind of outcome that you can't beat that. The gentleman is to have him talking only 2 days after this incident would be amazing. So just wanted to highlight that. Great collaboration both from the citizen as well as within our department.
We would like to do that forward, maybe at a meeting, especially for the individual at the restaurant who had the wise enough to be able to start that, which obviously saved their life, along with PD showing up in the fire department. That, again, we have great collaboration. That's just a testament to how we all communicate well within all of our departments. But thank you very much. That's great news. But we'd like to see that. We'll get that forward.
Absolutely. Once we get more information, everybody,
please,
we can acknowledge everybody, and we'll do that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else have any announcements they wish to speak on right now? With that, we're going to close the announcements, and we're going to bring it up to consent calendar. Oh, City Manager Domer, you have any other announcements yourself? Don't. There he goes. Besides, tomorrow is National Night Out.
Yes, somebody should say that. But
yes.
then also,
yes.
It's hot out, so people, please make sure you stay cool and hydrated. And
Councilmember Lau?
This isn't an announcement. I was moving to consent, so.
Oh, I'm going to just real quick.
Okay.
On that, it is hot out. Animals also, make sure they have water, make sure they're indoors. I know this is like a harp constantly, but at the end of the day, if it's 95 degrees or 100 degrees outside, do your exercises early in the morning, late in the evening, and be very careful out there. I know that we activate our community center till 5 o'clock, 5:30 on days that it exceeds 95 degrees, so we have been activating that. And so, but also it is National Night Out. It's a great experience for everybody to come. It's over at Las Flores Park on the upper side by the pool. It's going to be a great day. A lot of our wonderful support personnel, our police department. It's just a great time. So, Mr. Crosby.
Sorry, one quick announcement. Have you got your tickets to the luau dance? I know I got, my daughter got hers today. It's only $8 this Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Luau dance right here this Friday.
And also this Sunday is the last of the concert series, which is The Answer, which everybody loves, at Heritage Park. So 6:30 p.m. It's going to be a beautiful evening. It'll be warm, but it's going to be nice. So that's our last concert series. With that, we move to a consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are routine and will be enacted by one motion unless the member of the City Council or a member of the audience requests separate discussion or just wants to make a statement on one of the items. Council, are there any requests to pull any item on the comments before we vote?
Just to confirm, do I need to pull it or can I just make the comment? Okay, thank you. I just wanted to bring to your awareness item number 5 on the consent calendar for the photography permit request from More Media. The contract referenced North 6 Inc., which was a typo, so that has been corrected to Move Media or More Media. Or More Media.
More Media.
Couldn't read my own handwriting.
City Manager Domer, was anything pulled by a public comment on the consent calendar?
No, sir.
With that, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Vote, please. Do we need a roll call or do we need a vote? Roll call?
No.
Vote. Vote. Vote, please.
This item was moved by Lau, seconded by Johnson, and approved 4-0 with Mayor Pro Tem Castro-Falguita absent.
Thank you. Tonight there are 2 public hearings. The first one is the ordinance amending the Gilead Sciences Development Agreement. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting on this item. That would be Cody Howard.
Thank you.
Oh, that would be our planning
I will
manager.
call Planning Manager Candace Bocock
Candace
for
Bocock.
this item.
Every month. President Bocock.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. So before you tonight is a request for the first reading of an ordinance approving the First Amendment to the development agreement between the City of Laverne and Gilead Sciences for the property located at 1800 Wheeler Avenue within the Aero Corridor Specific Plan. The original development agreement was approved by the City Council on May 5th of 2016 under case number 79-14 DA. The agreement originally established an initial 10-year term and included a provision allowing for a one-time 5-year extension upon mutual agreement with the city and Gilead Sciences. Gilead submitted its request to exercise that 5-year extension prior to the expiration of the original agreement on May 5th of 2026. The proposed First Amendment would therefore extend the term of the agreement from May 6th, 2026 through May 5th, 2031. Although the City Council is considering the amendment after the original expiration date, the extension request was submitted in a timely manner prior to the expiration of the agreement. The amendment also proposes to revise the impact fee provision in Section 7A. The revised language clarifies that impact fees applicable during the extended term will be those in effect as of January 1st, 2027. It's important to also note that the proposed amendment does not modify the approved project or authorize any additional development. There are no changes to the approved land uses, development standards, development intensity, building square footage, or project footprint. All other provisions of the existing development agreement would remain unchanged. The Planning Commission considered the proposed amendment at its June 10th meeting and is recommending approval. From a fiscal standpoint, approval of the amendment will have no immediate impact on the city's general fund. Any future development under the agreement will remain subject to applicable impact fees, as well as other taxes, fees, and revenues. With respect to CEQA, the proposed amendment has been reviewed against the previous adopted initial study, mitigated negative declaration, and addendum. Because the amendment does not involve substantial changes to the project, staff has determined that the amendment remains within the scope of the prior environmental review, and that no additional environmental review is required pursuant to CEQA guidelines. The city attorney has also reviewed the proposed amendment. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council determine that no additional environmental review is required and conduct the first reading and waive further readings of the ordinance approving the First Amendment to the Gilead Sciences Development Agreement. I am available if you have any questions of me, and I believe the applicant is here, Richard Amon with Gilead, if you have questions for them.
Thank you, Planning Manager Bocock. Appreciate that. Do we have any questions for staff before we move to public comment? Well, we're going to go ahead and open up public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it up to the dais. Gilead's always been a great partner. It's nice to see that we can extend this another 5 years. They bring a lot to our community. We really appreciate the nice development they did over there. So thank you for being good business owners and good neighbors. We appreciate that. With that, is there a motion to conduct a first reading and waive further readings of an ordinance titled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, approving the First Amendment to the Development Agreement between the City of Laverne and Gilead Sciences, Inc. from property located at 1800 Wheeler Avenue within the Air Corridor Specific Plan, case number 56-26DA.
Can I just make a clarifying?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I bet all that. I have to do it again?
No, you don't.
Okay,
We're just going to refer back.
Okay.
But I just wanted to know for anyone else who is reading all the pages and all the fun, the original agreement has a notice provision which requires notice to our prior council and to our prior director of development. But my understanding is that staff has already been on top of it and it has been changed. So even though this amendment just amends the term, that has also been
referred to us,
updated. So that is accurate. So that's just my point of clarification.
And our planning manager is nodding her head yes. Yes. Okay. With that,
I'd like to move to approve.
Oh, I have a second.
Second.
Vote, please.
This item was moved by Crosby, seconded by Johnson, approved 4-0 with Mayor Pro Tem Cashel-Vegeta absent.
Thank you very much. Thank you. With that, we move on to next public hearing is the zoning ordinance amendment for the non-conforming lot development standards. City Manager Domer, please call for the staff member who will be reporting on this.
Thank you. I'm going to once again call forward Candace Bocock,
My
our
goodness.
planning manager.
Hello again.
Come on down. Oh, sorry.
Now, the City Council is being asked to consider an amendment to the city's non-conforming lot regulations to help facilitate affordable housing opportunities. Currently, the code requires contiguous non-conforming lots under common ownership to merge into one parcel. While this requirement generally promotes orderly development, staff identified that it could create a barrier to affordable housing in certain circumstances by preventing individual lots from being developed separately. The proposed ordinance would create a limited exception to the lot merger requirements when the merger would interfere with the development of a qualifying affordable housing project serving low or moderate income households. This exception would provide additional flexibility for affordable housing development while maintaining the city's existing lot merger requirements and development standards in all other circumstances. The amendment also supports the goals of the city's housing element by helping to remove potential regulatory constraints to affordable housing. The Planning Commission considered the proposed ordinance at its June 10th meeting and is recommending approval. The ordinance would have no immediate fiscal impact on the city's general fund as it's a regulatory change and does not authorize a specific development project or require any city expenditures. The ordinance is also exempt from CEQA under the common sense exemption because it does not approve a specific project, authorize new construction, or modify allowable land uses, densities, or development standards. The proposed ordinance has been reviewed and approved by the city attorney. Therefore, following the conclusion of the public hearing, staff recommends that the City Council determine the ordinance is exempt from CEQA and introduced by title only and waive further readings. of the ordinance amending Section 181060 to facilitate affordable housing opportunities. I am available if you have any questions of staff.
Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and open up public comment. A public hearing, I should say. Anybody wish to speak on this item? With that, we're going to close the public comment. Bring it up to the dais. Any comments?
Quick question, Candace, are there any projects that are in the pipeline that this would affect?
It will affect the First Street property that is affiliated with the Lutheran High School project, because it's currently 2 lots that are under the minimum standard. Under today's zoning, it would require them to be merged. So, yes, it would affect that property.
Thank you.
Other than that, it's just cleanup. Clean up to making sure that we cover ourselves, but also cover what the state's requiring, correct? With that, no other comments? Is there a motion to conduct a first reading and waive further readings of the ordinance title and ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, approving the First Amendment to the Development Agreement between the City of Laverne and Gilead? Oh, that's the wrong one. Close, I got it close. I didn't. Is there a motion to determine the proposed ordinance exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15061-B-3, common sense exemption, and introduced by title only, and waive further reading of the ordinance title and ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, amending Section 18.10.060 of the Laverne Municipal Code to facilitate affordable housing, amending Section 18.10.060 of the Laverne Municipal Code related to non-conforming lot development standards to facilitate affordable housing opportunities.
Move to approve.
Second? Second. Vote, please.
This item was moved by Crosby, seconded by Loud, approved 4-0 with Cascio-Vegeta absent.
Thank you. Thank you, staff, very much. Tonight, there are 4 items on the discussion calendar. The first item is the award of 1-year maintenance services agreements to CMAX Commercial Maintenance, Inc. for citywide street sweeping service. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting on this item. That would be...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Public Works Director.
Danny Wu, Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, staff is requesting approval of a 1-year interim maintenance services agreement with CMAX Commercial Maintenance Incorporated for citywide street sweeping services. This is an interim agreement intended to ensure uninterrupted street sweeping service while staff develops updated service specs and completes a formal competitive request for proposal for a longer-term, multi-year contract. By way of background, the city's previous annual street sweeping agreement with Athens Services had expired on June 30th. During the renewal discussions, Athens had proposed an approximately 18% rate increase. After evaluating that proposal, staff determined that renewing the agreement at that increased cost was not financially prudent or in the city's best interest. At the same time, allowing street sweeping service to lapse was not a viable option. Street sweeping is an important component of the city's overall street maintenance and stormwater compliance programs, and regular street sweeping removes trash, sediment, and other pollutants before they enter the storm drain system and helps the city comply with its National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES short, and stormwater permit requirements. Given the need to maintain uninterrupted service, staff evaluated CMAX based on its ability to meet the city's immediate operational needs. This included its municipal experience, equipment availability, staffing capacity, emergency response capabilities, and importantly, its ability to mobilize immediately. CMAX was able to begin providing service on July 1st, immediately following the expiration of the Athens agreement, so there was no interruption in citywide street sweeping. From a cost standpoint, CMAX has agreed to maintain the city's previous rate of $39 $6.14 per curb mile, which is the same rate that the city was paying under the prior agreement with Athens. The proposed one-year agreement is for a not-to-exceed price of $173,000, including $13,000 contingency, available for city-authorized emergency or supplemental street sweeping services. Funds have been appropriated in the Public Works operating budget as part of the fiscal year 26-27 budget. Therefore, staff is also requesting that the council waive the formal bidding requirement for this one-year interim agreement. There are several reasons for that recommendation. First, street sweeping is an essential and ongoing city service, and an uninterrupted service was not acceptable. Second, CMAX was able to immediately assume the work while maintaining the city's existing curb mile rate. And third, limiting this agreement to 1 year gives staff sufficient time to develop a comprehensive service specifications and conduct a full competitive procurement of the city's long-term needs. I do want to emphasize that this 1 year agreement is not intended to replace that competitive process. Staff will develop updated specs and issue a formal competitive RFP to establish a multi-year contract later this year. And through that process, we will evaluate proposals based on qualifications, municipal experience, equipment, service approach, technology, pricing, and overall value to the city. Once that process is completed, staff will return to the council with a recommendation for a longer-term street sweeping contract. With that, staff recommends that the City Council waive the formal bidding requirement for this 1 year interim agreement, approving the maintenance services agreement with CMAX Commercial Maintenance Incorporated for a not-to-exceed amount of $173,000, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and related document. This concludes my report, and I have Romero Nunez, maintenance manager, and representatives from CMAX here to help answer any technical questions.
Thank you, Director Wu. I just want to appreciate the fact that you were very detailed on this. You explained exactly what it was, because I'm all about competitive bidding, but this is the same cost for a year, and then we go out to an RFP process. You explained it very well, and I really do appreciate that. And street sweeping is not a real fun thing as far as, it's a necessary thing, and we do realize that there are large areas in Laverne that need to be swept. So I appreciate your work on this and getting a cost that was the same as the other, push it out a year, and let it go to a competitive bidding process. So with that, I'm going to open up public comment. Thank you. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Ms. Beauchamp.
Good evening, Council. I have questions. Why wasn't knowing that the contract would end at June 30, 2026, why weren't we examining the bidding process back in 2025 so that we would not have to have this emergency 1 year? We've seen in the past the problems that arise from no bids. I know he said we're doing this for 1 year to give you enough time to do it properly, but it's like we're pushing the goalposts there. We're pushing it out. We should have been doing it within the terms of the existing contract, not waiting till that expires before we start the process. I do appreciate that he was able to negotiate the same price and not have an increase, but everything goes up. So I'm sure they're doing us a favor now, but it'll exponentially go up next time around. So number one, that needs to be examined. Number two, it doesn't explain, he explained why this process is taking place, but it doesn't explain if the same services are being covered. I know Athens did an excellent job. I could eat off my curb. It was that
I
good.
Would recommend that.
So, yeah. And that's after I hose down the poop that's in my yard that people leave. So that's how good of a job they really did, and I'm not exaggerating. So, are we getting our same bang for our buck? We need to ask that ourselves. The department needs to ask that. So I would like to see some kind of a comparison in the future. I looked in the packet. It didn't really compare what we were getting. It just talked about what we're going to continue, going forward in the maps and everything. But it didn't really do a side-by-side comparison. So hopefully that will be provided in the future when you get the bids for the next time around. So thank you.
I will say that I think it was apples for apples as far as what was street sweeping on the exact pavement, the exact square footage. Also, the fact that that Athens came up with an 18% increase. It didn't give us enough time because they were not going to negotiate with us. They were able that CMAX came along with the same price, same infrastructure. Obviously, our Public Works Director will be monitoring our sweeping to make sure that they cover, which I'm sure they're going to do just as good a job. So hence the 1-year contract that's identical, square footage. They'll cover the same area before. Am I not correct?
That's correct.
Director
The scope of services is comparable to the last scope of services from Athens.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, this was this was not planned. This was one of those agreements annual basis anyway, in that we had looked at in the near future, be it next year, the year after, going to a competitive bid. We've had some staffing turnover, and so one of the trying to kind of space out the big RFPs that we're doing. But want to shout out to CMAX for jumping up, doing basically the same service that Athens was doing. In fact, some of their employees used to work for Athens. The person with initially, just to kind of see how this was going to go, created the original maps and plan of action for Athens way back when. Brought them on, I think, in 2019-20. So, we will be watching them. We know that our residents watched our street sweepers. And so I don't know how the calls have been coming, but I haven't had any calls about, missed brushes or not spraying water or missed curb or anything like that yet. But we will communicate with them. They were very upfront with us that, they will respond. They are looking to do a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add on the annual agreement for Athens, the terms of that agreement only allowed for a CPI increase. So with the other annual agreements that were brought before City Council for approval, all the other vendors had agreed to the CPI increase. This was the one vendor that we were not able to negotiate a fair price, and they wanted significantly more than the other allowances.
Thank you. Mr. Crosby.
Thank you. I do agree with Danita, Ms. Beauchamp, when we do have agreements coming up, we should be looking forward of doing those prior. But I did also speak to the gentleman from CMAX, and one part what I liked hearing was that their street cleaning for Laverne is going to be on Fridays. Clean up my streets before my friends and stuff come over to my house over the weekend, and make sure that our neighborhood is clean too.
That's
So
true.
picking certain days are always a little more beneficial for beauty of your neighborhoods as well.
Any other public comment on this item? We'll go ahead and public comment. Close public comment. Bring it back to the dais. So, no other questions? Thank you. Appreciate CMAX for coming forward and giving us those quotes, and we will go out for an RFP during this year time frame. I also want to say hello to previous Councilmember Carter. He's sitting right over there, and also Marlene Carney, our Planning Commissioner member. So, welcome. Is there a motion to waive the formal bidding requirement and approve a 1-year maintenance service agreement between the City of Laverne and CMAX Commercial Maintenance, Inc. for the citywide street sweeping services for a not-to-exceed price of $173,000, including $13,000 contingency for the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and any non-substantive documents necessary to administer and implement the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
This item was moved by Johnson, seconded by Crosby, approved 4-0 with Kasha-Fagita absent.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you. Next item is the 2026 Christmas Morning Community Partnership Agreement. City Manager Domer, please provide the staff report on this item.
Yes,
Ms.
Mr. Blockinger. Mayor, I'm going to tell Andrea, please coming up to the podium.
Mr. Blockinger.
Yeah. No, Mr. Mayor. So this is on the Christmas morning event. We've heard from a lot of folks based on what the city staff had to do in some of the reductions. Community members came up and wanted to take it on themselves. This item, the partnership agreement, is based on recently an administrative regulation 129, and I don't want to get too much into Andrea's presentation, but so she will be providing that. I know that Scott Dilley will be here to also talk about the event from the community partnership point. So if there's any questions, Andrea, please take it away.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City Staff, and residents. This evening, I will be presenting on the 2026 Christmas Morning event, and as Ken said, our partnership agreement with the Christmas Morning in Laverne Committee. The representative here tonight is Scott Dilley, who will be assisting me with tonight's presentation. Oh, forward. Okay. Just for some general organization on how this presentation is going to flow, we're going to recover what Ken just said about background and about the Admin Reg 129.
Yeah, but you're saying it, though, and he's not. So, yeah.
Before inviting Scott up to talk about their proposal in the Christmas Morning in Laverne Committee and their needed funds to maintain this event. From there, we'll talk more about budget and then funding scenarios and close with the recommendations for council at tonight. All right, so quickly, because Ken just said it as well, this Christmas morning event is a long-cherished tradition in Laverne, over 100 years, and some longtime volunteers are in the audience tonight. Thank you for being here tonight. The event structure has modified throughout those 100 years as Laverne grows and then the operation changes, but overall it's maintained a very similar structure where there is a lead vehicle with lights and sirens guiding a Santa vehicle throughout the community, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. In early 2026, a community group came to our attention offering to take over and basically lead this event. We had a variety of meetings with them to discuss feasibility and logistics to see how we can make this proceed in an effective way. We have identified a path that we're presenting here tonight, and the Christmas morning event would be led by, again, the Christmas Morning in Laverne Committee. I will call them committee moving forward just to save some breath. And the city would continue to oversee and coordinate with that committee. So in compliance with the newly adopted administrative regulation 129, we need to present this before council for approval, as this is a coordinated event with the community that requires staff time, equipment, and costs from the city to help make this event be a success. It also requires, per that admin reg, that we enter into a formal agreement with the committee before we proceed with any planning and implementation for the event, hence why we're talking about Christmas in early August. At this time, I will invite Scott up to discuss the committee and the proposed project scope. Sorry, I have all these files out of the way. Slides for you.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. So we're looking at Christmas already. We think we've put a good committee together. We're listening to the concerns of the residents that were voiced, and that was that Santa drove by too fast. We could not see Santa because he was inside of a vehicle. Only the clubhouses being visited at the mobile home parks instead of every street. And most importantly, to bring the candy bags back. So those are the items that we'll be focusing on. With the candy bags returning, that slows the pace down of the route. Being a Santa parade, it can move at a faster pace, and so bringing the candy bags will slow that down. And our plan is to distribute those via golf cart and to decorate the golf carts in a holiday theme and to drive curbside and be able to easily hand out the bags. And in that model, with having the RSVPs from the police department leading the routes and the golf carts and not having the runners, it's going to improve our safety of people jumping on and off vehicles and running down the curbside. And it's going to reduce the number of volunteers needed for the whole event by less than half. So that's what we're looking at, and I think this will be a much more sustainable model for years to come than having up to 80 volunteers as runners. So that kind of covers the slide. We've been asking, the time frame 7 to 2. In the past, we've done a parade route for the whole city. Our goal is to finish the whole route well before noon to make this about a 4.5 to 5 hour route. We'll be incorporating new sleighs, music, PA systems, and following the same routes and time frames that were done with the 6-route format in the past. We have a rough budget of $25,000 with the itemization up that's on the board there. Some of these would be one-time cost. Going forward, we should be able to lower that down. We're actively fundraising. I have flyers here for anyone that's interested. And we probably were closer to $5,000 at this point. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think it's a great idea. I'm really tickled to death. That's wonderful. I know. You have more presentation. She's got more to talk about, Scott. We love it already, Scott.
Thank you. Yeah, there may be questions if you wouldn't mind. Okay. So the slide that Scott discussed reflected the costs for the committee, but this did not cover costs for the city to help with organization and coordinating for this event. So back when we were developing the budget for this current fiscal year, we budgeted accordingly with the understanding that the city would be leading the event. This was before we met and had discussions with the committee. So for this budget year, we did allocate $16,000 to cover operations and personnel of city staff that would be volunteering for the event. Now, with the committee leading the event, we developed the estimate that's listed on the board to help understand the cost for the city to help maintain a successful Christmas morning event. The first one being, well, let me actually step back for a second. It's broken down with required costs versus supplemental costs. So the first section, those required costs, are costs we need to cover. For the supplemental costs, we can have a discussion if we want to maintain that. So first, under required costs is special event insurance. When we first met with the community group, internally we went, okay, how is this going to impact our insurance and our liability? So we spoke with our insurers, and the special event insurance didn't change. So that amount still reflects the amount from previous years, but we were given direction that for all lead vehicles, it still must be driven by a city staff person or an RSVP or a CERT member, as they are authorized to drive the lights and siren vehicles. So we have to keep that in mind. That second line item, staff time for event coordination, is all time for city employees leading up to the day of. So that is attending coordination meetings with the committee, conducting outreach, leading the mandatory safety training meeting, as well as doing fleet maintenance and staging the fleet so that it is ready on the morning of Christmas to lead the event. That next line item, you'll see that there's a range, and that range is covering the cost for those who would drive the lead vehicle. So the reason there's a range is because we're fairly early on in the planning. We haven't locked in who will be driving the lead vehicles. So if every city employee drove on all the routes, we would give a stipend per person. However, if it was CERT or RSVP members, we would give a donation to their fund. And so that changes the amount that we would donate for the lead vehicle position. And so that's why you see a range listed on there. We give a low and a high, so you can understand the general costs for that component. That last bullet under required costs is just equipment costs for the use of our fleet on the day of the event. Now, the supplemental cost listed there is for the community mailer that we've done for the last few years, informing residents about the event and other holiday fun that they can have in Laverne. So that's not a required cost, but we find the value in conducting that outreach and notifying them about the event. So you may be asking, why did I go into that much detail? That is because, for direction from council tonight, there's a variety of scenarios that we leave to your discretion as listed within the administrative regulation. So within the administrative regulation, it identifies that the city council can either require that the community group fully reimburse the city for city costs to help with the event, or we can waive city costs, and then we could also provide seed money to the community group. And so those are all different scenarios for the city council to consider. So on the slide, we have the different scenarios listed there. I know it's a lot of text, doesn't look very fun, but it ranges from providing seed funding to the group and waiving city staff costs, all the way down to not waiving any city staff costs and not providing any seed funding. So we can read through it if we'd like, but I'll leave it to you guys. So the final slide is the recommendations for council tonight. The first is providing feedback based on the proposal we've offered here tonight with the committee and city staff involvement, and then authorizing the city manager to finalize the agreement based on your feedback tonight. And then third is identifying the funding scenario, and I will leave this slide up because it lists the different scenarios. So Scott and I are here if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
I think we'll open up public comment first, and then we'll come back to the dais. I know there's lots of questions here. So, any public comment on this item? Have anybody online?
Craig Bowman, I've been a lead vehicle for about 50 years. I've never been asked for any money, and the other 5 people that had lead vehicles, we just volunteered to do it. We don't need to be paid. There's no reason why we just can't do it the same way. That'll save a couple $1,000, it looks like.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you for all your participation over the many years. Any other public comment? No one's going to raise hand. I'm going to close public comment, bring it up on the dais. Councilmember Lau.
I would like a little bit of clarification. I talked to our attorney earlier about the insurance portion of it because like the 4th of July and our parade, there are considerations with insurance, and I wanted to be able to articulate to the public what those considerations might be and how, what methods we're looking at mitigating any potential liability or risks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We will be looking at and talking to the CJPIA about the amount of insurance that we would require. We're very careful when we establish the insurance requirements that it be a broker or a company that is licensed to do business in California, that is of a certain ranking, and that we've assured that the right coverages are in place to provide for workers' compensation, liability, property damage, general liability, and so on. And we will be looking very carefully at the amount of insurance that we think is necessary to fully protect both the organization and the city when we move forward, if you so direct.
Yes, I think Christmas in Laverne is a very special day. This event actually hits every street in Laverne. I've been participating in it since 2019. I was first a runner for first couple of years. Let me tell you, that is a lot. Then I became a Santa because I can't run anymore. And I do understand the quickness of going through communities and where people are hearing the sirens and people are not coming out in time because the truck's going fast. I like the new ideas that the committee has brought up. I also believe that the city has some costs as well. If employees are doing it, it is on a holiday. Not all employees, I'm sorry, don't donate their time and energy, especially on Christmas morning. It is a tough break. I do talk to my family about why I'm leaving the house until 12, 2 o'clock. And I know when I was running, I went home and took a long nap because I was so tired. I missed most of the Christmas daytime. So I do believe in making sure the costs are covered, but any extra money that we've budgeted, I think we should put it back into our community partners so that they are getting closer to the goal of everything too. I also remember in 2019 when that was the year it was taken back from the fire department back to the city, where we had a great party in the community center where we were boxing and bagging up all the apples and peanuts and stuff, and it was a fun night. And it was one night, so the volunteers really came out that night because they wanted to come out and do something when they weren't able to do it on Christmas because they had to be somewhere else. So something like that might, I don't know if that's what you thought of doing that and that cost, but I think bringing that night also brought a lot of people back together in the community center. So I would like to see that back as well. I do like the idea of golf carts and dropping them off because the volunteers in running, they all ran the first hour, then they all got worn out afterwards. It was really, really tiring, and to keep asking our high school kids that's we're doing it the most and running the most out there was a lot. So I do like our coaches were for our high school teams were really bringing the teams out together. And not all kids can participate on Christmas because they have family commitments as well. So my proposal would be to leftovers is making sure going back to our community partners so that it's helping everybody get across that finish line.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Councilmember Johnson.
I have very fond memories of being in the fire department the nights that we would pack those bags of candy and apple and peanuts. And yeah. So I really like this idea of this proposal. Support this 100%. Very worthwhile. I know what I didn't like about the prior couple of years when I was running alongside the truck, trying to keep up.
That was...
Yeah. So, the golf carts sound like a great idea.
Are you guys calling dibs on the golf carts? Is that what
No, I don't think they're sharing those with us. But I do like this idea so far. And, I wonder, I know with the Rotary Club, we can often get liability coverage. This isn't necessarily tied into the Rotary Club at this point, so I'm not sure what, if anything, I could be able to help with that part of it. But I do appreciate all the work you're doing. I want to support this.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Councilmember Lau.
Okay, so down to brass tacks. All right, I understand that the city currently has budgeted $16,000 from before this was taken over as a community-led event. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so the different scenarios that are
Put those up again.
put up as potential options for us to pursue, I would like us to be cautious, and I will leave it for dialogue amongst those on this dais, that as the $16,000 was already allocated, I'm not necessarily opposed to that being seed money here. However, my concern is that we are doing this under our new admin regulation 129 due to some concerns that were raised by residents about how other events were put forth and how they were funded and or supported by the city. I will draw the correlation again with the 4th of July parade. I think when we were in times when we had more money to allow for things, we were able to contribute different amounts to these events to make them happen. I think the reality of this being on Christmas Day has caused some different issues here and there just because it is a holiday that we can't force people to work. But I would like to know, or at least have an understanding of, what are the group's anticipated strategies going forward after this $16,000 seed money? Because I can't guarantee, nobody on this dais can guarantee what amount could or would be contributed in future years for this event. And so I think that's something that I want this event to happen, because I think this is something that the community has talked about, that I've been here for a long time for, but I think I'm looking at the perpetuity of it. There needs to be some sort of a plan for how does this go forward effectively. I know that there may be some competing interests in the folks that we ask all the time for money for concerts in the park, 4th of July, for Winter Wonderland, for all of these events that I think are important to the community, but we are going back to the same folks a lot of times for that. So I think we need to have some sort of a strategy for what do we really need, and I appreciate the breakdown of the budget as what is required and what is supplemental, because I think that gives some guidance as to how this group may want to move forward. But I want to be very clear that while this money was budgeted, this $16,000, and this council may decide that yes, you can take the $16,000, and we can think what to do. But I think we need to think about what does that mean. We're calling it seed funding, so is that a one-time this year, and there's a plan for next year? I know some of those costs that were identified as one-time costs. So I'm assuming like the sleigh will be, hey, we got to build a sleigh one time. We're not going to keep building sleighs every year. But I think those are some important questions to answer. And I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer about it. I'm being very practical about it.
Okay, Debbie.
I'm being very practical about it. I think it's really easy to say I want to support something because everybody is real gung-ho about it. But I want to support something that will be sustainable long-term. And I want to know that there's a plan for that. And that we're not stretching out our staff and otherwise compromising. So I don't know if that's ready to be spoken about or if anyone has
If I can jump in, I think what's going on, and I know that Jason Simonson and also Scott Dillard are working on a Laverne Community Foundation. And the foundation is not just for, as you're stating, we have to be very cautious. If the foundation is set up, the foundation is set up for many community engagements. So they can do other things in the community just besides the Christmas Day or whatever the community foundation wishes to work on. I know that Mr. Domer has been working on that with them. So it's a 501c3, if I'm not mistaken, and you're working on that right now, which I think, and that's going to carry it through once you start getting people involved, get the foundation set up, that will be the seed money for further engagement. So that's, if I understand correctly, that's what we're working on right now, and it's actually in fruition. It's moving through the process. And I know that you and Jason are working on that.
So then my ask, and again, please clarify for me or help me out here. I think about the partnerships that we have, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce. The agreement that we have with them does require some sort of reporting back or some sort of a assessment so that we can evaluate continually how do we get better each year. Is that something that's contemplated for this? And I would say the same for 4th of July. 4th of July were to do something similar. How are we making sure that we are making the best use of our limited dollars to the maximum benefit of our residents?
Yes, thank you for that. And again, with every holiday season and the Christmas, there's always the Grinch. I'll play that role. So I'm very happy that Scott and his group have jumped up, have taken this on. They're doing a good job. Understand that a lot of the costs, or a good percentage, are up front and all that stuff. The real quick, getting back to the insurance issue stuff, we have had in the past the special event insurance, CJPIA. I think the issue right now is, given today's environment, our standard is a $1 million, $2 million policy, and unfortunately, that's not a lot. And so that's one of the things that we'll look at as identified in the required cost. I think that was $697 for special event insurance. That's a $1 million, $2 million. It may be that a 2.4 is $900. Yeah, so we'll go back to the APIA and talk to them about what those different levels are. I do believe that, yes, we budgeted $16,000, and given that, we were balanced at zero, if we provide all $16,000 as seed money, but then have to cover city costs, then that's going to cost us back in secret. Yeah, so that's where, scenario number 2, where, getting the city costs down as great as possible, and that includes, if we can utilize the CERTs and the RSVP drivers have been instrumental throughout the years. So really look forward to their continued partnership in this. I think the extended hours may be a question, but this is going to be the first year we're going to see how the golf carts help out and see where that goes. But that would allow the greatest amount of seed money to get to group to do the sleds, to create seed money for the candy and all that stuff. So, I think this is going to be a great relationship, but I think this is going to be a good cause. There is a report back function. It was a component of the Administrative Regulation 129, where the group has to get back to us about all the different costs. And much like we've been doing the last 4 years in our budget, we really need to know the costs. So we're going to be asking that. And we're going to be working pretty much hand in hand with them for this year, because it has been a city event, a volunteer fire department, and for 101 years. Quoted on that.
Don't start
because
that.
we're still, yeah. But no, so, I think it's also the first time doing this, and it's the first time we're coming back with a community partnership agreement. So we're going to learn, but it's a great group to learn with. And yes.
Yeah, additional questions. We brought up candy packing, and that will happen again. It will very likely be on 2 days ahead of time on the 23rd. We have a rotation of churches that would like to host them in their community centers. And our plan would be to spread that out year after year to a different church. And then, to invite community. We have an interest. We are looking, obviously, for sponsors, but also for volunteers. We're doing an interest list of people that would like to volunteer on the 23rd for candy packing and as well on Christmas morning.
I have a real quick comment, and I really appreciate you guys coming forward to do this, because it's been a real modification over the years. We really have heard from the community they really want it. And I just want to say that I know Scott's company has given so much to so many of these functions that we have. It's always, hey, Scott, hey, Scott, hey, Scott. And I do feel that we need to give your committee as much leeway as possible. And I do agree with Councilmember Lau that we have to protect the city. That's always, we have to. We have no choice in that. We have to make sure that whatever's spent is done correctly under the guise of our city management. But I trust you guys explicitly. I know that Councilmember Carter, she'll make a penny squeal, and I know she's the treasurer. So, she left your committee to do this. But I do think that because of the involvement, Scott, that you, the Saunders Towing has given over the years, I know you're a contractor, but you've gone way above and beyond. And I know Jason also, Simison, and also your wonderful wife in the corner over there. You guys have given so much. You do Rotary, you do all these things. So I think we need to give them the catalyst to get this going. You guys get your community foundation going. We make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's, make sure the insurance covers it. But I believe in the maximum amount for you guys to get this going. It's going to be a successful event. I know it will be. You guys are in charge of it. It's going to roll really well. People are going to love it.
Well, and I know Scott and his wife has been giving up a lot of their time at Christmas every year as well.
Every year.
I've seen them out there. They've been they put the first sleigh on the back of his tow truck and was going around the community too.
Yep.
So
a lot.
I know their dedicated time.
Yes.
That they've been there too. The one piece I question about the costs, the required cost, is the equipment cost of rental of the trucks and stuff being out there. I just see that's a place where the one day, I know it's $900 or $8 and some, but that's the one piece I see that I understand paying money for staff and stuff, those stuff. That's where I see there's a little wiggle room.
And on that, Mr. Councilmember and Council, the council, per the policy, has the ability to waive certain things. And maybe that's the one, if that direction is given, that helps increase the insurance, then that's where we can get that additional. But again, $900 for the 7.
Yeah, I agree with Councilmember Crosby. I think that we need to look and piece and part those things apart that we don't really need to do. I mean, I think it's right here. Yeah, right here on this. Yeah, it's $839.84. It's like, come on, forget that.
So I think where I'm leaning in terms of direction would be looking at, for the cost arrangement scenario, is doing the partial seed funding in an amount determined not to exceed whatever the balance is of that 16,000 after our city costs are incurred. Number two. And and again, got seriously no pressure, but also kind of pressure. I think for us to be successful, then please lean on the resources that you have in terms of like if you are stumbling or if you are like, oh crap, we didn't think of this. Like, I think we'd like to know that obviously ahead of time to try to help move it forward. And I do think it will require at some point maybe a concerted conversation amongst the various groups that are doing and helping out with these great holiday events about how do we get leaner and meaner and figure out, how to be efficient in these ways. And then I think to the point about looking at whatever is being budgeted, what is something that we could waive as a council? What is something that is not able to be waived just because we have to preserve as much of our budget as possible? But that's where I'm leaning as option number two. And then really looking for continued collaboration and understanding of where it's going so that we can make sure that it's successful.
I'm leaning more towards the number one, give them the entire $16,000 personally. I trust these people, and we know where they live, so that's not an issue. But they've been great to the community, and I really think that we need to support them as much as we can. So, actually, we already took public comment, but she's part of the committee. She's part of the committee. She's the treasurer. Please.
I just want to tell you that this committee has been led by Scott. Scott has lived in this community, has seen every year with Santa. The love that this man has brought and got our committee together is all about what Laverne's about. And he just, wants it to be for every child, every adult. And something that he did leave out, too, that we're going to have a contest that the family that has the biggest Christmas party that morning as we're going around will get a prize. We're doing little things like that. And I can't say enough about Scott, his leadership, his love for this community, and it's just like you just feel it when you hear him at every one of our meetings. And it's about the community, and we heard so many times that kids just miss the candy. And one thing that we are doing, too, is this is not, I'm personally, being the treasurer, would love to see you waive it this year. I know many times when I was on council we did that. And it's just because we need the seed money. We're building the sleighs right now. We need to pay for that, the painting of them, banners, everything that we're doing. It costs money this first year. We're hoping to be self-sufficient after this year. What's beautiful is that I'm going to give each one of you a flyer. If you would just pass them on, Rick. These are our fundraiser forms. Our children are even donating. Today, my grandson was over at my house, and he's 20. He came to every one of the packings and has, come over in time for the fire department. He donated his $10. We don't care the dollar amount. Our goal is for the community. We don't want to hit all the businesses every year. We know that these businesses in town are hit by everyone. We want the community, whatever they can afford to, because this is something that everyone loves. The mobile homes will be ecstatic because they can't come too far. And the last couple of years, somebody would be out front by the clubhouse, and they'd be told, come see us. Well, they don't do that. This year, they're going to go completely around every street of the mobile homes. And so I just wanted to give that message. We would love if you could waive the fees this year. Give us the $16,000 would be my wish, and let us have a successful first year, and then we'll go from there. And we'll keep communicating with you of how things go. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, Mr. Crosby.
I hear you. I think the cost though of the employees that we have to pay, that's my only worrisome about that. I want to give them as much money as we can, but my worry is about the cost of our employees. And some of the employees or some of the people I know over the years have volunteered their time. I know I have never been paid, and I don't wish to be paid. Since 2019 I've done it, and I'm still looking forward to participating this year as well. But there are employees that have to do it because they are need there, and that is just things that the city has to then take on as well.
Understood. I think we can do that even with the guise of that and paying our employees above and beyond that. I think for the first year to get this going, I think it's kickstart it. Anyway.
So let me get this straight, though. With the $16,000 that was initially allocated for Christmas morning was contemplating that it was going to be all city-led, right?
Correct.
Correct. And that $16,000 encompassed staff fees and costs, correct?
Yes.
So that's why I'm going with number 2, because all that says is we are proceeding under the same budgetary constraints, except that the only difference would be that a community group would be leading the efforts for that remaining amount to pay for it.
There is a slight variance between the city leading the event in cost versus the community group being in charge. So under the city-led structure, we paid for every seat. And so the employee costs was a little over $10,000.
Right.
Where under the community-led structure, it's a lot less.
Right.
And then for full understanding, the breakdown on the screen you're seeing here is so you can understand full cost. But if we proceed, like staff time could easily be absorbed. And then as we discussed, equipment costs can easily be waived. And so those are things so that you can fully understand our time. But like even last year, we weren't project coding our time for coordination leading up to the Christmas morning event. So if that helps paint a picture too of the budget listed
We
there.
were absorbing the time internally
Correct.
because
Correct,
you were
yeah.
doing other things and you were
We've identified the costs. So going forward for this event, for example, if we were to go more with what Mayor had, the staff time for event coordination is basically meetings. We've met
During their regular work
during the
hours.
regular work hours.
Right.
We can absorb that, and so that would be the equipment costs we already talked about. That we could say, okay, well, let's not do that. Also look at, let's see what the special insurance. That's something that the council wants to say up to $1,000 the city would cover. That may be some type of savings that down the road we get a little bit more from CJPIA on something we don't do or something that wasn't important. But the biggest costs have been the employees on the day of because it's Christmas morning.
Right.
But we
And
won't
so-
have that anymore.
No, they're still.
we will
We'll have a few
minimize
drivers.
that
Yeah.
Drivers.
greatly, and then we also minimize it even more through the use of the volunteers
and
at
RSVPs.
RSVP and CERT who are contributing their time, but the city is still providing each $700 into the CERT organization, the RSVP organization help them. If that's the low end of $50, that would be the best case scenario on that. So yeah, we could whittle that cost so that
So
the
right.
$16,000 really is right now. Oh, the other thing is the community mailer. So we have put that out. It's been that half-page nice thing
Postcard,
on the side.
yeah.
It talks about Christmas morning event. and
Do we need to
the
do
other
that though?
event.
Can't we go on social media?
We can, yeah. So on the flip side of it, we have a lot of water programs and other things. So we try to use it
Oh,
as
you
a
can use it.
good.
She wants
I know,
Andrea.
I'm trying to keep her down for right now.
No, no.
Hold on. Wait.
We,
Yeah, good luck
we
with
use
that.
it for multiple different things. One side is Christmas morning and other Christmas events. The other side is water related.
So really, it's
restoration,
not
things
the
like that.
$2,700 community mailer.
It would be twice that. So $2,700 is Christmas morning portion. So Andrea, please come on.
So yes, so the community mailer. So we do reach out to the community via social media, but the common piece of feedback is our residents aren't always plugged in, so the mailer gets it directly to the residents. But I will say it also is put in the recreation guide, the Christmas morning event, which is reached by every single resident. So that community mailer is also variable in cost because that's a really nice quality mailer. We could make
It's a
it
really
a quarter
yeah.
page that's just about the Christmas morning event. Because I think if we do not inform the community that this event is changing in structure, then it's not set up for success. And so we should inform them in some way that the goodie bags may be there, that their route arrival time is going to be different from the last 3 years because of the elongated time frame.
So I think just to clarify, my point in asking that question about the $16,000 and the staff costs and everything else, because it is community led, it's not like we're taking $8,000 of it and the committee would only get $8,000. It would be if we're absorbing the special event insurance, or if we're absorbing the equipment costs and some of the staff time is incorporated into their daily work. The only thing we're worried about is that actual morning.
Yeah.
So I just don't want the city to expend more than the $16,000 that was allocated when we said that we were doing it, because that did include staff time, that did include, the day of, et cetera. So I think that's fair to say whatever we can be smart about in terms of keeping those costs down, we'll do that. And then the remainder of it can go as seed money this year so that we can get it off the ground and running.
Question. I really didn't hear as far as when the floats came down or Santa came around. Typically, the fire department was a part of it, and they'd have the sirens going. Is there going to be some sort of a notice like the sirens that people will be brought out that know when to come out?
Yeah, so the plan is to put the police volunteer RSVPs leading the routes in their police units with lights and sirens. And that's the 6 volunteers. And that's kind of leads back to the money part of it. We feel pretty strongly that we have 6 volunteers in the RSV program that are willing to volunteer their time on Christmas morning, which leads into the stipend amount. I would like to see a donation made to the RSVP program in lieu of that.
Right.
So really, we're talking just roughly. The insurance is the one that we really don't know. It could be $2,000. We have no idea. But the equipment costs and really staff time has been reduced tremendously. You're looking at a couple $1,000s for staff time probably. Internally, it's absorbed anyway. You're having meetings. You have meetings on this, right? So you have another 25 minutes to your meetings that you're dealing with the Christmas morning with Scott and family and whoever's and Robin and as far as if they were meeting with them to discuss Christmas morning. So really, we're just talking money, guys. Okay, it's either the full 16,000 or you go to the next one. How much is it if you go to level 2? What are we talking about?
Based on some of what I heard, with the I don't know, the 697, the 1884, it would be around 1,250, 12,500. That would be seed money. $3,500 would be to cover stipend amounts, insurance, and we would cover, the staff time we would absorb, the equipment costs would also absorb, and because we're absorbing costs, it's a good thing that we're increasing the insurance. But so that may be something to look at, like seed money of $13,500, and then the other thing is that we could always come back. We wanted to get this agreement going so we could have this and start identifying, and so that we can get more public there, community that it's coming, that there's some donation. But we have time. It's August. So we can come back in September or so with that definitive amount, and it could even be based on how they're doing on fundraising, what the actual insurance amount is going to be. So we could approve the agreement tonight, or council could approve the agreement tonight, and we can come back with that final amount of money at another meeting if that's the
Yeah,
desire.
and we spoke earlier. You kind of asked a number of what we were looking at, and I threw out a number of half of our budget of $12,500. And I thought that would allow the cities some wiggle room to cover the insurance and everything. So that's kind of what we were looking at as well.
So the $12,500, that would leave us about $3,500 on what we not going over the $16,000.
I'm comfortable with that. If you're comfortable with that, I'm comfortable with that. So option number 2. So we're all clear now. Okay. I still like the 16,000, but let's stay within our budget. I think we already have. So we would do a motion to provide $12,500 of seed money for. Well, partial seed funding is provided up to the committee amount determined by the city council not to exceed. So we would give them 12,000. Just make it an even $13,000. Okay. I like 13,000.
The used car salesman in his old life.
Okay. Partial seed funding is. I'm going to make a motion. Partial seed. We are going to seed fund for $13,000 to the committee, and the remaining $3,000 will be for the city for costs incurred. How's that? Authorize the city manager to contract with the finalize agreement with the Christmas Day celebration committee, and that's it for $13,000.
13,000.
Yeah.
Your limit.
Unless you make an alternate motion. Just trying to get them some money right now. Get it done.
I do. I you know what? I just want to make sure we are always maintaining our budget and really trying to make sure that we are spending the right way. This is a great thing for our city. It is the actually only event that hits every corner of our city. And it's one of my street's favorite thing to do. And if you've ever been on it, running it around there where you look back after the Santa goes through, you see families coming together.
Having
it really
coffee,
brings
having donuts,
the
eating
cities
on the street
together. So I do agree. I just want to make sure we watch our costs as always. But I do agree with the 13,000.
And I would say that we have a city manager in Ebenezer Scrooge. He'll make sure that $3,000 goes to really good use.
That was the Grinch.
Oh, okay, the Grinch.
Mr. Crosby, was that a second?
That was a. Oh.
I made the motion.
Oh, second then. Sorry.
Did you want to?
My only comment is that, on our end, I think we do everything we can to keep our costs
absolutely
minimal. But I would ask, obviously, that the committee also consider that too. Like, what is necessary? What is an extra? What do you have to hit someone else up for a donation? But I just want to be cognizant of that, just because I know these are tough fiscal times for individuals as well as for the city. But I will support.
And I trust the Dilly family. I trust Robin Carter, Mr. Beaumont. You don't look
no
a day
pressure.
over 60.
No pressure.
For doing this for 101 years, Mr. Beaumont, you look great. You look fantastic.
And for a $1,000 sponsor, premier recognition on social media, and name printed on the candy bag.
There you go.
$500 sponsor, social media acknowledgement, and name printed on the candy bags. Or a $250 sponsor, your social media acknowledgement as well. So you too can be part of
That's
this.
right. We will be posting this. We will
$10,
we'll be pushing this out
$2.
again. We'll be doing some minute with the mayor and minute with the council. So with that, I have a motion and a second. Can we vote, please? Vote, please.
Vote.
Vote. Vote. Vote.
This item was moved by Mayor Hepburn, seconded by Crosby, approved 4-0 with Cash Lagita.
Scott and Andrea, great job. Thank you. We look forward to an extremely successful Christmas Day celebration. Thank you. Okay. I wrangle you guys. Third item is the declaration of a school zone prima facie speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour in the city of Laverne. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member, Cody Howling, who will be reporting. Thank you.
The staff recommendation for this evening on this item is that City Council consider the adoption of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, declaring the prima facie speed limit in school zones within when children are present as 20 miles per hour. So every time I come up in front of any council to discuss speed limits, I like to always recite the speed law as just a reminder of kind of the basis of how we come up with speed limits. So straight out of the California Vehicle Code, I'll just read it here. No person shall drive a vehicle upon a highway at a speed greater than reasonable or prudent, having due regard for weather, visibility, the traffic on, and the surface and width of the highway, and in no event at a speed which endangers the safety of persons or property. So how do we come up with speed limits? Prima facie speed limit, basically it translates is on the face of, there's two groups that categorize. One is based on a engineering traffic study that is statistically derived from the 85th percentile of field data gathered on that roadway. And the other is the sort of default standardized speed limit, which is more of what we're talking about tonight. Streets that would fall under that category are residential streets, business districts, and most importantly tonight, marked school zones. So bringing to, okay, the speed limit's been 25 miles per hour in school zones as far as any of us can remember. What's changed? Assembly Bill 382 was signed into law on October 10th, 2025. And what that law allows is first, by default, on January 1st, 2031, the speed limit across the state for school zones will drop to 20 miles an hour. Also within that law, it also gave the authority to agencies to speed that process up and declare the posted speed limit for school zones when children are present as 20 miles an hour. So that's what we're bringing forward to council's consideration this evening. City staff did work with our counterparts at the Bonita Unified School District and got their input as well. I've also spoken with Chief Gonzalez to review, basically, obviously, the change from 25 to 20 is going to be an undertaking in terms of education and enforcement. And talking with the chief, we believe that the police department is well positioned to take on that role with assisting in the traffic enforcement division and moving on to costs. So we did an inventory of all the speed limit, school zone speed limit signs within the city, assess their condition. There's a hybrid approach that we may be taking, although we did get a much better costing on materials just late last week. So we believe that for approximately $5,000 or less, we can replace all the school zone speed limit signs within the city. School is upon us. It is that season. It's right around the corner. So if council considers this and adopts this resolution, sounds like everything's in place and we're prepared to move forward with getting these signs up in time before school starts. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, been talking to Superintendent Matt Ween about this. They're excited about it, supportive. We will, upon consideration and approval, we will check with that. We will initiate all the communications, social media, and so will the school district through their, take home folders.
I'm going to open up public comment real quick. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Ms. Beauchamp.
Good evening, council. Because this is specifically affecting the school zone areas, have we talked to the school district about some kind of grant or money that can be contributed to this?
Danita, that's why I was doing this.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with them.
Well, because we're still paying on those last two bonds, so there should be money available to it. Okay. Jab.
Yeah, no kidding.
But thank you to Cody, because he knows I would ask this question about the cost. So thank you for having that information ahead of time.
Thank you, Ms. Beauchamp. Anybody else wish to speak on this? Raymond, no. We're going to close public comment, bring it up to the desk. Go.
I have a question for Cody. The actual level or size of the school zone, how far in front of the school, how far after the school defines a school zone?
So there's a few different criteria there, but generally the standard is within 500 feet of the boundaries of the school that front that street would be categorized as the school zone. You can go farther. It does take another action at council to look at that, but 500 foot's typically the standard.
So going up along D Street, you would count Roynan, count all of Bonita up to Dunwoody.
Yep. There's a small gap. I think it's around 10th or so, where for a few feet you're not in a school zone, but you're into one, out of one, back into one. Yes.
You're not going to stop it.
Yes.
And Cody, that includes non-public schools also?
Correct. That's all primary through K through high school. So colleges don't factor in on that, but private preschools, I'd have to double check. You're probably right, sir. If they are preschool programs tied to a public school, I'd have to look at that. Yeah.
Most of them are.
We wouldn't create a school zone for, like, say, if you're running a preschool out of a residential. But
No, but there's
default, you're probably
there's like a
25 years.
preschool right across from Mr. D's.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can take a look at that. It's
That's-
not currently a designated school zone
And it
from my
doesn't,
recollection.
there's not a sign there either.
There is no
that's-
sign.
Yeah.
It's just enter, exit, but it comes onto one of the busiest roads
Yeah.
around. But anyway, my biggest, oh, you go ahead, Steve.
Well, I sat in on the transportation committee
We were there.
when they were talking about e-bikes and the
Yes.
accidents that were happening, mainly on Wheeler and Baseline, that general area. Kind of surprised me that there were accidents with e-bikes, as there were, and it was both the vehicles and the e-bikes themselves, with a combination of fault or liability. But this would include e-bikes in those school zones as far as the speed limit?
I believe so. I mean, your typical bike probably doesn't have a speedometer on it, but if somebody's moving through quite quickly, I could imagine that PD would remind them of the school zone.
think
And there will be an
PDs
educational process that goes
I
through.
mean, PD should be citing people that are going over the speed limit.
Well, certainly.
Whether it's on a bicycle or in a vehicle.
Well, yeah,
I would assume.
we're still in that time frame where they're still monitoring and giving warnings, not citations. But at some point, Chief, I think we'll get the chief here. That's going to change to a citation real quick.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question, bicyclists are supposed to stop at stop signs, stop at red lights, also obey traffic laws. So it doesn't excuse them from that. So to answer your question, yes, bicyclists are to obey the rules of the road. It says it in the vehicle code.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Chief. I think my biggest thing was the stickers. I was not a fond of the stickers, putting stickers over the signs, because we know we've seen some of these stop signs now that are there, and all the laminates, the plastics are pulling off. So I'd really like the fact that you got a great price for just change the signs and do it once and be done with it. So I think it's a great idea. I think we should, obviously, we need to have a discussion with superintendent, because we did have it at the meeting we had. We were discussing, Chief was there with Bonita, and it's important that we get some compensation for what we're putting out there, because they are the school zones if we can. But it's the state. But they were in favor of it, and it came with a cost. And I mentioned at that time, I think that if we favor the cost, maybe we can share. So whatever. With that, okay. Is there a motion titled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Laverne, California, declaring the prima facie speed limit in the school zones when children are present is 20 miles per hour for the purpose of reducing the school zone speed limit from 25 miles to 20 miles per hour per AB 382?
I'll move.
Second.
Second.
Vote, please.
That item was moved by Lau, seconded by Crosby, approved 4-0 with Cashel Beguita absent.
Thank you all. Appreciate that. Final item for consideration, the First Amendment to the agreement regarding design and construction of the Gold Line transit-oriented development pedestrian bridge by the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments and the City of Laverne. Mr. Howling, I think you're going to report on that item? Now, I know that we had a conversation regarding this. Does it change anything that we're going to be discussing right now as far as what we discussed as far as the bid being pushed out?
I'll defer to Mr. Domer on that one. I don't believe so.
That discussion was that technically at 2:00 today, the COG was supposed to open the bids for the pedestrian bridge, the multimodal pedestrian bridge. That was pushed off until Wednesday, and then today we heard that it's pushed off for another 3 weeks to allow additional time, additional questions, bidders on the project. So I don't think it should conflict with today's action, though what I've told the COG and John Boucher is on also, for better terms, construction manager, but that if it comes in way over bid, then we need to have a discussion because the amount of money that would now with this action go towards the construction of it means that the city council in their action from last year,
with the modifications we were looking at.
we're looking at the Laverne signage across, additional the orange peels and some uplighting and all that stuff. That money is the money that we'd be giving towards the extra cost. Of course, you could argue that the uplighting and Laverne across the span, you couldn't do it if you can't build the bridge anyway. But my comments back to John and the COG was that if these come in higher and there's no other funding, we need to have a serious discussion. The at-grade crossing is a very viable alternative to this at a lot less money. So, that's my concern is we don't know where the costing is. John feels, and he can come online, feels very confident in their estimation and in everything. So that's his field of experience, not mine. But it's going to be, we're going to have to wait to see what the numbers are.
I think we should have Cody do his report real quick. Unless you have, go ahead. Yeah, I think we should have John do his report. Cody do his report, and then we can get the questions we can have from Mr. Boucher come online.
Well, I'll keep it brief. Good evening. So this item before you is the consideration of amendment to agreement with the San Gabriel Valley Council Governments and the City of Laverne regarding the bridge. Obviously, we've been discussing it. The feature of the amendment is identified, with the existing funding to contribute additional funding that has been restricted funds. I must underline that. Restricted funds that the COG has been awarded with the intent of working on first mile, last mile improvements within the city, not exclusive to the bridge, but can be used toward the bridge in the amount of $2 million. So that additional $2 million would be added to the funds that have already been identified, bringing the total amount to just over $28 million for construction, design, construction management, everything that it takes to produce the process to build this bridge.
That's inclusive of our requests and our asks with the lighting and the line signage and stuff.
As Mr. Domer mentioned, we would have to wait and see how the bid numbers...
But it was this price is inclusive of that, but we have to wait and see what the bid is.
Yes,
actually.
We would need to see how that. Ultimately, we are beholden to the contract that would be awarded, and so what fits within that budget is truly kind of the bottom line on that one, sir. Yes. So, that's the total picture. Ideally, we get competitive bids. And we can afford all the things that we wanted in terms of the enhanced lighting, the architectural features, and so on, and maybe some other features with first mile, last mile in the area. But for now, we're looking to try to make sure that we also have the minimum coverage of a budget to build the bridge.
I'd like to bring Mr. Boucher online because I think he can clarify some of the things as far as the bidding process.
Sure.
Yes.
Did I hear you say something about at grade?
No, that was
me.
I prefer the span bridge. At grade is totally different concept, totally different design. Right now, we have to really see what the costs come in. We've got certain monies that are given to us that, like I said, they got an additional $2 million. If it does go higher, I think that we might have a possibility of discussing it with the COG. with SCAG and some other entities, hopefully to get,
Get it
completed.
funded.
Get it
Yeah.
funded.
And
But-
Mr. Mayor, maybe that's one question to
Mr.
John
Boucher.
is, based on the delay of 3 weeks, now when would they look, and so is our September 8th meeting still within the time that we could make this decision? So that's a question to them. Before, when they were looking at even having it today or on Wednesday, they wanted to go out to bid, or they wanted to start the contract process and support it, but now that may be postponed. Pose that question today is, can we wait for our next meeting on September 8th based on their delay of 3 weeks?
And also the thing is, we have to, if this goes to fruition, this needs to be built before the Olympics. So let's bring Mr. Boucher on.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is John Bichet. I am the project manager for the Laverne Pedestrian Bridge. Yes, we had extended the bid opening by 3 weeks. This is mainly to allow more of the bidders to bid on the project, and also aligns with the upcoming board meetings that we have in September. So basically to give them more time to study the plans and bid on it.
Thank you, John. I know you guys will do a great job. I know you got some great, how many, right now, what do you have for bidders? How many?
We have more than 60 prospective bidders on the plan holders list.
Was that how many?
60.
60.
60.
Yeah.
And that includes subs and primes, is my discussions with Mr. Boucher.
Yes,
Yeah, but we've got a
including
solid
the primes.
number.
The nice thing about this, John, is the fact that it's a span bridge, so it comes pre-made. You have to get the pillars in and get the infrastructure done, then you lay the bridge in place, basically, in spans of concrete. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of it will be prefabricated and then be installed.
Which makes it a little more cost effective.
It's
It's
there are
concrete.
more expensive options, I'll say that. Yes.
Yeah, there are. If it was a steel span bridge, no, we wouldn't be doing that right now. Do you have any questions for Mr. Boucher? Mr. Crosby? Mr. Johnson? Lau? John, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be talking, and just keep us posted on what's going on. Appreciate all your help and work. You guys are going to do a great job and bring us in a really good price that we can maybe put balloons on it or something permanently on the bridge and some other neat stuff. I said balloons. I don't know. I was thinking fast enough. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members.
Thank you. So really, with that, we're public. I think did I do public comment already? Oh, public comment. We'll open up public comment, and that would be no. Close public comment. Bring it back to the dais. Councilmember Lau.
I know, City Manager Domer, you were mentioning if it were to come back higher than, like, are we setting a threshold? Are we saying if it comes back at X, we need to talk about it, or what are we considering?
No, we would have to have a good discussion with COG because, again, they know better. They're in action, SCAG and the states, feds. They believe it. I do know that the council wanted to make sure that we had some texture, sound design to it, some enhancement, signage.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a strong desire, and I'd like to be able to see that come. So, it's really going to be, they open up bid, we'll have some good discussion.
So we're hoping, do we think we'll have a discussion on the agenda by the 8th, or do we?
3 weeks and 2 hours.
I mean,
I think so.
Is that optimistic?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to postpone it for how many? What was it? How many weeks are you going to postpone it?
So the COG is pushing back the bid opening 3 weeks. So yes, we should have adequate information at that point to have a discussion. I
With
believe
60
so.
bids, they're going to clear those out real fast. I mean, 60 bids is like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well,
But
we
I
hope
think it's great. I
Yeah.
love it. That means there's competitive out there.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to, postpone it because I know once they get that bid, they want to start moving forward.
No, we need to because they have to
And
start.
so I think the action tonight is necessary, but we reserve the right to kind of go back to them and say, can we talk?
Well, and I'll say on my part, this has been a long haul, and I really do want to see this bridge go in. I think it would be a great addition, and we've worked really hard on that. We've had partners that have graciously given money, and I think we can hopefully tap those resources to assist us in furthering that if we do come to a price that's a little beyond our reach. But I'd like to see that bridge built, personally. But anyway.
I believe if the bridge is built, it really needs to have some signage of Laverne on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because just this first time the fair with the train, the train coming through, it was a question of where do you get off to go to the fair. They first proposed the Laverne / Fairplex stop wasn't going to stop for the fair, and that the bus lines couldn't. So, question of mine as well is how many people used that train / bus to get to the fair, because that will help us get there, and or how many people use the train to get to the drag races, because that's really going to how many people go use the train to get to the fairgrounds. If it does have an extreme cost, then looking at a ground level, it's not something I want because of the stop and the dangers of that. But it also depends on the usage of it as well. Is it per capita going through? How much money is coming in to use it too? But if we do have it, it has to have Laverne on it, because even with the train stop, Laverne wasn't the and the Fairplex wasn't the stop that they really wanted to propose.
No.
And we need to make sure that
Make sure we blast it with some lights and a
Yes.
big thing on it. No, I will say that the once they figured out the bus line, that and that was Ken Domer and Doran Barnes figuring that the hydrogen buses had a shorter wheelbase and they could turn it, and it was like in the ninth hour because they were going to have everybody go to the Pomona station, and we were just going to get passed by. So I kudos to all of them, But anyway, so with that, any other conversation? I think direction is to keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward is my direction, but also let's look at some data of what is there. Asking Foothill Transit how many users were during that time too, just so that we have some data when we're making decisions.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, just a minute. Is there a motion to approve the First Amendment to the agreement regarding design and construction of the Gold Line Transit-Oriented Development Pedestrian Bridge? Authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and related. Motion.
So move.
Second. Vote, please.
This item was moved by Crosby, seconded by Lau, approved 4-0 with Cashelfagita absent.
Thank you, Cody. What? Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Yes. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we are requesting that you add an item to the agenda on the basis that it arose after the posting of the agenda, and we are required to take action before your next regular meeting, and it is an item relating to communication with the Measure G task force. I need a unanimous vote to bring that onto the agenda.
I'm just asking a question though for this. Shouldn't we or could we have done that in the very beginning so that members of the audience, if they really wanted, would have stayed for this discussion?
Normally, we would have done that. I think that there was a little bit of an oversight due to the presentation. So, yes.
Thank you.
Normally, we would do that at the beginning.
Normally, we would have this in advance, put it on the agenda so people could review it.
Today, when we first started, we should have done at the very beginning today, because we had audience here as well.
But anybody who is watching and wants to comment on it can call it.
So we can open up
But
public.
I do need a motion.
Do we need a public comment on it right now?
No, you
We're
bring
just
it
going to do a
on.
motion. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll move to add this to the agenda.
Motion. Second. Vote, please. Who was the second?
Second.
Mr. Crosby. Vote, please.
Yeah, that item was added to the agenda on motion by Councilmember Lau, seconded by Councilmember Crosby, approved 4-0 with Mayor Pro Tem Cashelfagita absent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This item was sent over by a group of city managers today, the San Gabriel Valley City Managers Association. Measure G was voted into by the residents of LA County, and it regards kind of the restructuring of the County Board of Supervisors, and that would include increasing the Board of Supervisors from 5 to 9 to create an ethics commission, which they already kind of had, and they could do otherwise. But one of the main elements that's the most concerning is it would create an elected CEO position, countywide mayor. So this would become the second most powerful elected position in the state of California after the governor's office. But it's going forward regardless. But one of the concerns is that the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, the Gateway Cities Council of Governments, the South Bay Council of Governments, so over 60 cities of the 88 in LA County represented by Council of Governments sent a letter to the Measure G committee saying, hey, before you provide any recommendations to the Board of Supervisors on the implementation and the setup of the elected CEO and please talk to the cities. Take our comments, talk to us, have us at the Measure G oversight committee meetings, and they have not done so. And so today's letter came through saying, hey, these people are going to be, by the end of the week, and that's why it's on the agenda to walk on, they're going to be sending recommendations to the Board of Supervisors without talking to the cities. The cities represent over, I think it's 9.8 or 8.7 million residents of the counties. So cities have the most interaction with residents, and this committee is providing recommendations without talking to cities, to city council members, to city managers, or to anybody. So this letter basically, and there's copies over here, is a draft. I modified it just slightly, a template that is going around to all the cities, but cities are being asked to send this in. Under our legislative platform, we would have the ability to do it under the mayor's signature because it does talk about governance impact of the city. But I thought walking it on to, again, apologize for missing it in the first part of the meeting, but walking it on would provide a little bit more transparency and a little bit more opportunity for the city council and residents to sign on it. But it is before you. It would be signed by the mayor and sent by the council if approved, and then we would let them know that it was approved.
One change, though, it says only CC Supervisor Catherine Barger. We have two supervisors that within the boundaries of our city. So if we can make sure that both of them are CC'd there.
Well, yeah, for a little bit.
We'll do that.
Yep, for a little wedge. Tiny wedge. Okay. Is that it?
That is it, sir.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
No, I appreciate the explanation. No, we already did it. We're done.
You would need a motion at this point to approve. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Now we. Okay.
Yeah. Public comments.
I'm going to open up public comment on this item. Maybe wish to speak on public comment on this item.
So is City of Laverne in favor of this additional 4-person adding to the county? Is this letter is it just in conjunction with COGS and SCAG and other cities, or are we going out on our own and saying, hey, we don't want this, we're not in favor of this?
Well, the residents already passed it. It was voted and approved on in the last election. Or actually in 2024. So it is going forward. They're going forward without accepting any input from the city. So that's what this letter would object to.
To clarify, I think it's for the position of the
CEO.
county executive officer.
It's just the
it's just
CEO
with-
position,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on the 4 to 5.
To say that before they
5
make any decisions on it, they should be soliciting input from all of these member cities to say, do we think that's a good idea? Do we think it's a crap idea? Because right now they have not accepted any input whatsoever.
Or
even
they
asked
won't
for
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
Has anybody reached out to the Board of Supervisors to find out why that hasn't happened?
Well, that's
Yes.
why this letter's going out.
Well, I mean,
no, it's a
I'm
very
just
good.
saying, like, you
it's
know.
a valid question, but the thing is, you know what our county supervisors do. The only one that really does anything is Catherine Barger,
Right.
and she votes down stuff when she thinks it's not right. At the end of the day, we're putting this out to say, hey, we're here. 88 cities. We should have a voice. So I think that's really the bottom line.
And Mayor, members of council, and the residents, yes. So Barger, first of all, not in support of.
No, she wasn't.
And then the 3 COGs on behalf of their city did send it to the Measure G task force with copies to the supervisors, and the Measure G task force never responded to the letter or welcomed the process, provide comment. So there has been. This is just another effort. It's getting to the point where it's a week away from them actually packaging up their recommendations, sending it to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, because I know it's not on their agenda for tomorrow. So
No,
I already
it's-
looked at
it's-
the agenda.
It's
so.
not. No, they have not
Okay.
yet received it, but they will.
Okay. Because this has already been passed by the voters, though, is there a draft of the map of how the redistricting is going to take place? No.
No, my understanding is that the elected CEO would be put in place with the 2028 election. And then after 2030, with the redrawing based on census, that's when the next 4 would be added, or to the 5.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other public comment? We'll close public comment. Any other comments from council? That would be a no. Do I have a motion to approve the engagement of incorporated cities in the development of a county executive officer recommendations against Measure G, and to have, how do you want me to say it? Recommendation, we send a letter. We're just sending a letter. Sending a letter to have engagement from our cities to be able to discuss the new CEO position for county supervisors, the alignment.
I move forward with the recommendations that we added on the dice as well.
Thank you.
Second.
Vote, please.
The item was moved by Crosby, seconded by Lau, approved 4-0 with Cashel-Begita absent.
Thank you all. There's no other business tonight, so we will move on to public comments. This is a time set aside for anyone wishing to address the City Council on items not listed on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from engaging in a discussion on any item not on a posted agenda. Your concerns may be referred to staff or placed for discussion at a later date. There's a 3-minute time limit for public comment. And Zoom participants who violate the decorum protocols will be called to order by the presiding officer, and if a violation continues, will be muted by direction of the presiding officer. If a call on a speaker goes down in a bad path, quickly call them to order, and if they continue, then we will ask them to leave. There we go. Well, we caught it real quick, though. So, Councilmember Crosby. Oh, wait. Do we have any public comments? I'm sorry. I'm like, Ms. Beauchamp. I was doing our council comments.
Timer. I want to say how disappointed I am in the council at the last meeting, although I was not in person attending. I did see the video. The fact that Mr. Domer revamped all of the committees based on the input from the council and took the time to, they really got committed volunteers to be in these committees, and they properly advertised the position for the EIFD, and you had 2 very qualified people, and because for whatever reason it it almost, if from the outside looking in, it almost looks like these people are being discriminated against. It's unfortunate that that's how the outcome looks. To just say, well, we need more time to have more people apply. If you have qualified applicants, what warrants that extension of time? Which then lends to the theory that for whatever reason, you don't like those people, because it shouldn't matter race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, what have you. But for some reason, neither of those gentlemen were chosen, and a motion wasn't even made. So I have to say that that's disappointing, because we know how difficult it is to get people to get involved into the meetings and the committees, and for these people to have the courage to do it, because now they are an open book. They have to put all of this personal information about themselves and their experience to prove that they're qualified for this position, and you've completely negated them. You didn't even acknowledge them. So I wish that whatever issues are, being had between certain individuals gets resolved, because it's very apparent on the video, and I'm just disappointed in that. So going forward, hopefully there will be somebody qualified. But I was really kind of taken aback by that. I really, especially Councilmember Lau, because you sit up there at the end of your meetings and your comments, you always ask everybody to be kind. And the last couple of meetings, you haven't expressed that physically. Going back to the prior meeting when you turned off Mayor Hepburn's mic to make a comment so that it wouldn't be part of public record, but your body language said everything. And so I think you're having a decorum should also apply to this council. It's not just the residents and the attendees and the people on Zoom. But this council needs to be reminded of what they should be setting an example of. So, thank you.
So a couple things I wanted to share for those of you who didn't get to attend. I know Councilmember Steve and Mayor Hepburn and I attended the Shell Station reopening on July 29th. Pump 5. Oh, I'm supposed to. Okay, so let me pump up Pump 5. Pump 5 at the Shell Station contributes a portion of its proceeds to local charities in the community. So if you are going to go get gas and support our local gas station, it's the Shell on Arrow and White, and Pump 5 is the one that redirects some of its funds to community
and 50
charities.
cents.
Well, I don't think it's 50 cents. And no, I think that went away. But it is still cheaper than a lot of places. So I know National Night Out was already brought up earlier, but I just wanted to remind folks that it is an event that we host, the police department and our public safety folks host every year on August 4th. It's taking place tomorrow night at Las Flores from 4:30 to 7:30. It's always a lot of fun, a lot of opportunities to meet your public safety professionals as well as other members of our city staff, and a way to build community, as there are lots of fun events out there. There's bounce houses and all sorts of good things. So, and Tupelo, I believe, should be out there if it's not too hot. So if you're a dog person like I am, you can go see Tupelo. Revved Up Coffee is having its ribbon cutting on Thursday. So if you're interested in going to that, that's taking place from 4 to 6 on Thursday. There is a 50th anniversary event for the Tenderloin, which is happening on August 12th from 4 to 6. And there's a multi-chamber of commerce mixer happening on August 13th. And then last but not least, I wanted to say thanks to Andrea, wherever she ran off to. For any of you that participated, she was the mastermind behind the passport to Laverne, which did great. I think she's got all the data pulled, and I'm excited to hear what her final report is, but it really engendered a lot of traffic into businesses that might not otherwise have gotten it. I think a lot of people ended up buying stuff, or at least finding out new businesses that existed in the city, or maybe an old business that they didn't know existed. So I think that was a great opportunity for folks, and I think there were also families that commented this was a fun and relatively easy scavenger hunty kind of thing to keep the kids entertained during the summer months. So thank you, Andrew, for coming up with that great idea and for putting it into effect. So if you didn't get a chance to participate this time around, I do believe that we will be revisiting this on an annual basis. So great way to support our local businesses and support community. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Stay cool because it is real hot.
Member Crosby.
Just want to thank everybody that participated tonight. Ms. Beauchamp, thank you for your comments, as always. Really do appreciate the insights you have. And so hopefully see people tomorrow night, National Night Out. It is every year the hottest night.
It is. It should be National Hot Night Out.
It will be tomorrow night as well. And thank you for all of our public service and our Parks and Rec for what they do, and our other community partners that will be out there celebrating just Laverne. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Crosby. Councilmember Johnson.
I'd just like to thank the city staff for everything you do. It's greatly appreciated. But I have nothing else to add.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Again, thank you for staff for all the stuff they've done this week. It's been a lot. I do appreciate our comments from our residents. It takes a lot to put these meetings together. Even if we have to add things, things change, and we do it gracefully as best as we can. With that, everybody enjoy the weekend, National Night Out, and remember, the answer is Sunday. The group, 6:30 p.m. at Heritage Park. And with that, the August 17th council meeting is canceled. The next regular scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, September 8th, due to the Labor Day holiday. Closed study session will start at 5:30 p.m., and the regular meeting will be at 6:30 p.m. And we are adjourned at 9:07 p.m. Thank you all. Like that?